Hello and welcome to Tear Off Your Skin, my Friday night hangout stream. And tonight I want to talk about mass combat and domain play. But I wanted to talk specifically about it in the viewpoint of role playing, right? Staying in character. Because I find that's often a problem with mass combat is that you suddenly everything become like you go back to being a war game, like everything become like third person camera, bird eyes view and stuff like that. So without talking too much about like going too much into the weed into like specific rules, I I want to say like how we can role play while doing those higher level activities. And Justin is joining me tonight for this
some
talk.
reason.
Yeah, and maybe some other people later on, I'm sure. Hello, Nicolas. Good evening.
Oh, I should switch over to
Eager
the
to hear your
chat.
insight on domain play. Well, to be honest, tonight it's sometimes like those tear off your skin, they're kind of like workshop. Hey Rick, you want to join? Send you a link.
Yeah, Rick, get in here. You'll know more about the topic than me.
Yeah, I send you a link in Discord, Rick, if you want to join. Might put but like those that's the point of like those tear off your skin. They're kind of exploration, right? We try to figure stuff out as we discuss. So we exchange idea and we kind of like a brainstorm of like how we should do that. And this is not something I have like a lot of experience about because I usually avoided it because I always felt like domain play and mass combat are not really the strength of a role-playing game, right? That's why we have like tactical game and war game. Because like I said earlier, oftentimes like what I want from a role-playing game, I want to be in the mindset of my character. I want to see the world through the eyes of my character and stuff like that. And oftentimes like they stray away from that when they come to mass combat, and because now you have to have like a bird eyes view of the battlefield, and now you're moving troops around. You're no longer playing a character really. They might pay some lip service like, oh no, you can do something with your character, make a roll for your command, and then like move those pawn here and there. Oh, there you go. Feel the trail, the pro skin advocate joining us, and Rick.
Rick,
Oh, hey, Rick.
Holy moly!
28 millimeter RPG. Welcome, guys.
long time no see, Rick. I believe.
Hey,
Yeah, so aren't
Well.
there, Phil?
Hi, how you doing?
Find yourself.
I'm doing well.
You're doing well.
Yeah,
Good. Thank you for joining. You as well, Rick. It's been a while since you've been on.
thanks. I'm gonna turn my fan
Yeah.
on, but I can hear you.
Fridays it's a little hard for me, but I make it once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I try to not step on anybody else, but also sometimes I used to do it on Sunday, but then it would hard for some people because that's school in the morning and stuff like that, right? Or work
Yeah.
or so.
Cool.
And Justin, I didn't ask you how you went. You were going, but I talked to you this morning, but this afternoon.
Yeah, we don't need to know anyways, right? Yeah.
Nah,
That's
fine.
what you want to say.
Pizza pockets.
There you go.
One moment. I'll be right back.
Staple. The staple
Make
of
you feel
rock and
good in the
roll.
moment, but then bad in the long run.
Hey, live for the moment, die later.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like there was a running joke when I was able to make Black Lodge game streams on Thursday with the Jane Austen role playing game.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like if you're gonna do that kind of like storytelling for domain play, I think you could do it. But if you're still trying to be the dungeon diver, well, the king of the realm, it's not the point. You're supposed to have escalated past that. Do a lineage game instead of a domain game then. But with mass combat, I think like you guys do that thing where you're what's it called? Not grounding or
Anchoring.
anchoring. Yes, anchoring. Yeah, maybe if you were doing that like you have to know how many people are around you.
Mhm.
So maybe if you like rolled a d4 to see how many adversaries are coming at you, like what the enemies are in your area,
Yeah.
and then just stuck with that number until you were done, and then kept the perspective that you guys normally use. But
Yeah,
if you're
because
looking for like how many people you are able
yeah.
to focus in on,
Because that's
right?
something we can discuss. I want to go around before if anybody got like a first initial thought about mass combat, domain playing, role playing game. But this is something we can talk about also, like mass combat. Are you in the melee, or are you like a commander outside? You know, there's a difference there
No,
as well.
no
Yeah.
commander in the melee, especially if you're doing a party game. You got to be the people at the front line.
What do you think, Rick, about the mass combat and domain playing role playing game? Have you had a lot of experience with it? Is that something you enjoy? Do you think like it meshed well, or?
Yeah, well, of course I haven't had any experience in it yet. Well, I mean, we did a little bit of a kind of a semi-mass combat, but in that, I do encourage you guys, as the players in my games, to bring up things, because I'm totally okay with you guys, imagining like maybe you imagine that there's like three guys in front of you coming from the one side. That's totally okay. It's I'm going by whatever you guys are imagining in your heads, and I'm
Mhm.
kind of rolling along with it.
Mhm.
So that's the thing about when I'm game mastering. I don't know if you guys feel as strongly or loosely about that as other game masters doing the 4D. But to me, anything that you guys add to the scene, no matter what it is, adds to the scene, and I can roll with it, and I enjoy that. So,
And this is something also, like, I'm glad you're here, because like something I want to talk about you about, like you mentioned, like in some video, like, if I describe a combat scene, I say there's pillar, there's barrel, and stuff like that. The exact position doesn't matter too much. So when the player went to interact with them, like then maybe they specify the position a bit more, the positioning a bit more, and then that's fine. We just roll with that. And I think that's
yeah.
something that we could discuss in mass combat as well. That's something that could be useful, in my opinion. So we'll
Yeah.
come back to that later as well.
Well, the only reason why I suggested the potential of a die with opponents is because it's
Yeah.
like more of a concrete hard number thing.
Yeah.
And you never want you never want to be in a position where you're questioning yourself on if you were cheesing the game.
Yeah, we could have like the player
Yeah.
roll the dice himself if you want to roll like that.
just in the moment.
Yeah. Phil, any initial thought on mass combat domain play? Any experience in it?
I've never done one that was good. So I would say you could role play anything, like as far as being a commander or frontline. I think either one of those is fine, depending on what your character is. I think it's probably easier to do it as a commander to make it more system wise. The question is, like, do you want it to be a system result, or do you want it to be a narrative result? So
That's a
if you
very
want
good
it to be a
question.
simulation,
Yeah.
then that's what I'm probably got more interested in seeing how it plays out, I guess. But narratively, I mean, you do whatever, obviously.
But that's the thing. That's the thing I often say, right? Like I had some experience. Like I did some mass combat and some domain play when I was a lad, right? When we were like much more in the typical like regular kind of like gaming style, right? So it would become that thing again. Now, like you just have like those bunch of resources, which are people, army, troops, and stuff like that, and then you distribute them, and then there's system, and then you make some rolls and stuff like that, and then stuff to happen, and then you make some calculation, and that for me, like that's no longer role playing. Now, like you're back into like an abstract war
Stratego
game in
or
a sense.
whatever. Yeah.
Hmm?
Stratego or whatever.
Yeah, but even more
Yeah.
abstract than that, right? Because oftentimes, like maybe you don't do exactly like the map
Well,
and stuff like that.
that's why I was suggesting you go for more the interpersonal relationship conflicts. Play the Machiavellian game instead of the
You mean as a domain play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you because we're
Yeah,
touching on that.
Domain play, I'm more interested in role playing those interactions at high levels.
Yeah.
But as far as mass combat goes, I think you can abstract the system, and it's not a big.
SBD.
It's probably going to be way quicker, so that's good.
I think that's the thing you want to like step away from is like you want to be in the moment, but not worry about how long it's taking. Right, as long as
how long what is taking,
like the actual event, not the actions in the event. You want those to be quick, but the actual the event itself. Don't worry about it being fast.
Yeah, I want the rules to be fast.
Yes, that's what I meant. Like the actions in the event.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
I just want to address this comment there before we go a little further, like because that's something that's I think it's important to point out. Like you say mass combat in real life. I mean, like I think it means around the table with music, miniature can be fun. Online, it's pointless. Like I think wargaming can be fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but that's for me that's a different hobby. And here, like that's what we're trying to talk about tonight. It's like, well, how do we do it in role-playing, stay in role-playing mode, right? Without going, because like, and sometimes some people say, you know what, it's kind of fun. We take a break from it's like a mini game. We take a break from the role-playing and then we play this war game, this mini war game.
Yeah, that's how Modifius Dune does it.
Yes, and Nicholas was mentioning Dune earlier too.
Yeah. Oh, Nicholas, did you play it the rules is written way? I'm curious to hear how that worked.
I don't know if he was playing the Dune game or just like playing in the Dune setting.
Mohadib.
Yeah. But like you mentioned, like the time, because okay, for me, like if you want to do domain play and mass combat and stuff like that, for me it should be like much more like Game of Thrones, like right. I would much rather you play a commander or some stuff like that.
Sure.
But I could be open to like you're just in the melee. Maybe you're not so high level character. You just like end up being enrolled in this mass combat, and now you have to fight among that. That's something also we can talk about.
Yeah, it'd be cool, like an opportunity for like a troop.
Yeah.
Situation.
Yeah. Controlling multiple character at the same time, you mean?
No, like where you just play a different character.
Yeah.
And you play like a frontline guy, even though you're a lord.
Yeah.
Like
during the but then like it make you switch from character to character.
Mm-hmm. Crispy.
Yeah, crispy. Well, you're always welcome if you
good news, Hangar, I hear.
Yeah,
he sent me a message.
Oh, and Nicholas said he played the Raw way back then, but it's way too convoluted for the Dune role-playing game. It turns into a board game. It works, but you have to break character.
I'm interested in playing it as a board game. Like it looks kind of interesting.
Yeah,
like they took to heart that they've designed a hybrid board game.
I have the Dune board game.
I'm kind of curious to see.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good Dune board games. Dune Imperium is a really good game. I'm sure you're talking about the classic one, and everything else is.
Do you have the classic? Do you have the classic one or the reprint?
Classic, but it's in French, so.
Of course it is.
It doesn't count. You know that, right?
Well, I had it when I was a little boy, right?
Yeah.
It might as well be written in Harkonnen.
So domain play, can we just kind of like define it real quick? Because I'm kind of curious as to how they're really. It seems like they'd be two totally different experiences between domain play and mass combat.
Yeah, domain is like you have a keep or a wizard's tower or like you're an inn owner. It doesn't have to be super high. You're just tied to land somewhere.
Okay.
Right.
And you're making these big like economics and decisions like that.
Yeah. Oh, you need to get wood for the winter.
We're going to gather it from all the driftwood on the beach.
So is that like a worker placement type of thing that you're doing?
It can easily be subsumed into a resource management game.
Okay.
Which is like obviously not role playing when you're bean counting. Like if you're a lord of a manor, you have a bean counter.
Yeah.
You don't bean count.
There's not a lot of movies like that.
No, that's a good point.
If you want it to be your role playing game to be like a movie, you're probably
that's what I was mentioning Game of Thrones right earlier. And at
Yes.
some point, you can see some of that, like when winter is coming, and then like people are worried about like, oh, do we have enough food? And then they talk about that, like, well, we have food. If the winter is like going to be like 5 year, we probably would be all right. If it's 7, not so much, right?
Yeah.
They have this kind of
Usually
stuff.
it's just like
that's
a
good.
little. Usually it's like a throwaway comment to
Yeah.
move into the next dramatic interaction between
Yes,
characters.
but it also like
Yeah.
create attention, right? That
It's great
and
tension
then
with the starving, yeah, for sure.
yeah, people
like the
people,
North,
people will be
and-
starving at some point.
Now, no matter how you approach it, what you're doing or what the plan is, like for if it's going to be a battle, if it's going to be like building a community or whatever it is, you still have to be through the eyes of your character. So and you, I mean, you could make things interesting and stuff like that. That could be happening. And meantime, somebody's trying to assassinate you, and that could be something that goes on, which makes it a totally interesting, like one episodic kind of thing.
I think you
But,
just hire good advisors, and then occasionally they're like,
Well,
"Something's
yeah,
up, buddy."
yeah.
And that comes back
That's-
to what Justin is saying about if you are Lord of Manor, you have been counter, right?
Yeah.
So having this NPC where you are the Lord of the Manor or the mayor of the village or you're the
Mhm.
guardian of the keep or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And then you have like those people coming to you and say like, Lord, sir, whatever, we have this problem, and then they expose, and then you can make a decision, and you can go talk, make a deal with somebody else, the neighborhood lord or stuff like that. Those can be interesting, I think. Those can be
Right.
in first person.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to use those NPC. You're not just putting like number in a spreadsheet, you're not just like moving token or like doing worker placement.
Yeah.
If you want something to happen, you have to interact with the world, you have to interact with NPCs or other characters, right?
the thing that you should be worker placement for is like your quest is finding the bean counter. Like job placement is the task you have, not doing the job yourself.
That could be a
But
task.
even doing
Yeah.
that, you have to do it in character. Like
Yes,
whatever
yes.
you want to go do.
You're a
go do, right?
lord looking for and then an entourage. And then, well, what happens when one of your entourage is like a spy for the neighboring kingdom?
It's awesome.
That's
Just
your
like,
that's your dungeon in
Mhm.
in
Just what
this
Nicholas
kind of
was saying
thing.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
So
you
I
say,
need
like,
a good
the
spy
living-
master.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what happens when your spy master's the spy? Dun dun dun.
And you experience some fun times.
So
Yeah.
Justin, just a question: Are you currently like trying 4D roleplay yourself and trying to
No.
get it? Or,
I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind it, but I don't think I have the mentality to sit there for an entire session in character. Like
Too
I could
goofy.
probably do most of the session in character, but I would be too tempted to break out of it.
yeah, it is. It it took me a long time, so
Yeah.
yeah. I can understand it. The reluctance maybe with a lot of people to try that stuff, but cool. We're always glad to see you like pop in there and do your comments and stuff during our streams. So that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the last comment I left on our stream was gay.
Even that,
It probably
it's fine.
was. It probably
We-
was.
Yeah,
I
Me
keep
playing
it-
magic user.
Oh, yeah,
those damn gay magic users, anyways. Jeez.
Yeah. So I think we're kind of in agreement like, on that, and like what Nicolas said there. It's like you'd play an interesting situation through when you like in dungeon delving games. You don't play the dude vacation. You'd be playing it like I don't know what's going there. I got lost. I thought he was saying something else. But like, yeah, like those kind of
but
like
you're not
adventure
going to
you would
role
go.
play doing your taxes. That's what he's saying.
Oh
Well,
no,
like doing a dungeon
Unless
would be like a
taxes are awesome.
vacation, on his
No,
vacation.
he's saying if you're doing dungeon delving, you don't play the dude's vacation. He says so like when you don't play like necessarily
okay,
between
okay.
adventure,
Yeah.
although sometimes you can, obviously.
Yeah.
I think everyone here would probably rather play that than a
Yes.
dungeon.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm
Yes,
speaking
yeah.
out of turn, but
Well,
But attending the marriage of the prince or a diplomatic mission, that can absolutely be interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. because I'm in a game with Shadow right now. We got a lot of new new people, and I'm trying to bring more legitimate role playing into it, and
Awesome.
it's because there's you shouldn't like we all know you shouldn't differentiate the level of role playing between combat and the rest of the time.
Yeah.
You should be spending more time outside of a dungeon or an encounter point than you are in. It's like one of the guys was like, I want my character to train because we're playing fucking the game our buddy Shonner here hates the most, AD&D. And I said to Shadow, well, let's role play the fucking training session. Just like do the training as the next like encounter we go to. It's like lights blew up in the guy's fucking mind. Hopefully he'll do it for the group, right? But who knows?
Role play training.
Yeah. Instead of just
Exactly.
like 7
just
days
mechanic.
and come back when it's over. No.
Yeah.
I want to play through the flashbacks or the montage sequence in Karate
I killed
Kid.
100 boars in the woods, guys. Welcome back.
That could be interesting. We should talk about that at some point, like role playing montage, right?
Yeah.
If you want to do like
Role-playing
every action
montage.
you take,
The best
one
time
day,
skip possible is a
well,
montage.
like I'm exaggerating here, right? But
it'd be
like
interesting.
That's good.
you know, like the training montage from an 80s movie, to use the analogy, like you know, we don't need to do every single day, but do like a day here, a day there, you know, get the point of the new skills that my
Nicholas is
character
clarifying, like
learning.
he said, I mean, if you play the domain game, you would be playing important, interesting event. Maybe shorter session where there's one main thing going on. Later, you play repercussion of it. But I think also that in domain play, it's almost hard to tell what event is important and interesting, right? It's almost like on the BS of the player to make the event interesting or important.
Yeah.
You go to
Yeah.
your cousin wedding, well, you know, those are political occasion. Like something's gonna happen, right?
I think
Deals are made.
Major political event. Yeah.
there would be a lot more important like micro note taking during these kinds of sessions. Like you heard X say at the wedding, maybe that's relevant at the end of the session.
It'd be kind of fun to
Maybe
play
it's
like
not, right, because it's a lot more information.
It'd be fun to play like a cool like you know, drunkard that doesn't really care about politics, like in a domain game, you know, like
You mean King Baratheon?
basically King Baratheon. That'd be kind of a fun domain game. You're like, I don't know, more wine. Who gives a shit? Just figure it out, Spymaster.
And then you died
even
by
a
a
game?
boar.
Lord,
go.
Lord,
You
they're
just,
coming
like-
at the gates.
Something very interesting you just touched there on Phil, though.
Yeah.
If you do a domain play with a group, are you like the Lord and his retinue, the advisor and stuff like that as the party?
I'd play it that way.
Or you
You
all
have to.
different Lord? Are you like one house? Or are you playing like each one a Lord of his own house?
I think if everyone's their own lord, then it's kind of this weird, like those
I-
old play-by-mail games. With the,
Yes, I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
And no,
You like write
no.
speeches and
That's what people had to do
Move
before the
armies.
internet. We
Yeah.
do this kind of
Yeah.
format now. This is the play-by-mail game now.
And the
you gotta have
game
time to type
master
your
would have
speeches.
game master would have to do a lot of NPCing too if it's like separate, you know. That'd be like, oh man, that'd be,
Yeah.
that'd be
Dark
heavy.
Age, Vampire Dark Ages is actually very much like that. So you play a lord and his entourage. It's kind of what it's designed to be.
That's the
Control
game I wanted
vampires.
to play, but I never got to. Even though I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of
There's a werewolf
vampire.
version of it too.
I was on.
It was like a Western.
I was
There's
on.
a werewolf Dark Ages also,
Oh, nice.
but there is a Wild West werewolf game also.
I was on one of these streams and somebody mentioned like, okay, so you're doing the domain and you have like the one fighter becomes the king, right? Because it's
Yeah.
always the fighter. The wizard sets up a wizard tower in the kingdom, right? So he's the court wizard. So like their domain is like separate fiefdoms in the same kingdom. The archer is now like the head of security or whatever, like the chief of guards, and then fill out the rest of the party in similar kind of
Yeah.
like their
Yeah.
own thieves in the kingdom, right?
It's like,
Right.
when do you work together?
Well, you're all like
Never.
part of the interpolitics, right? It goes from a
Yeah.
game like your treasure is not like
Mhm.
a magic sword or whatever. It's now like bits of information.
So you're saying there's a bunch of individual scenes with like two players in it, where they're like
There
dealing with
could
each
be
other,
there,
and
there,
occasionally
there
they meet up at a table,
yeah, there
like at a
could
banquet
be,
or something,
or sometimes like
Yeah.
an
or a
NPC, which
marriage.
is like an ambassador from some other country comes by and
You
you
see,
know does
That,
some
that's where I come also, like we say, like when you know we want to avoid the play by post kind of thing, right? We're just like where
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, I'm gonna email you my turn, and then like you're gonna tell me
Yeah.
like 2 days later what happened, right? But that's
Well,
the thing. When you do like domain play like that, either if everybody is a lord, or even if people like are all in the same retinue,
mhm.
but in higher level kind of post, right? I think you need to have like, if you want to do it, you need to like distribute the level or the power level much more like much less evenly, right? One is gonna be on top, one is gonna be much lower, and then like you have like lower underling, and player has
Yeah.
to be are right to playing character that are basically underling, right?
I've always been okay with that, so I
Yeah,
assume
I
other
am too.
people are too. So
What's the name of that
Like-
game you were describing the other day, where it was like
Simpsons.
everyone's a wizard and they're never together, but they have their entourages?
Ars Magica.
Ars Magic. Yeah,
As Mud mentioned it
I think
there in
someone
the chat.
mentioned that. Yeah,
I wanted
I was.
to talk about it. I can bring it now. Like he said, if you try playing more than one character in a campaign, in Ars Magica,
Yeah.
you play a wizard
Okay, yeah,
as your prime
exactly.
character, but switch to your Guardian Knight during field combat.
So I think that like troop play is going to be much more prevalent in everyone is an advisor to the Lord and someone's the Lord.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
everyone kind of has their own thing going on,
Yeah.
and then he sends his agents.
Oh, that's something you can do as well. Like
Yeah.
everybody is kind of like high ranking. Maybe one
Yeah.
is the king or the lord or whatever. Then like
We have to
number
send the
2, number
diplomat
3.
guy out. We're gonna
Yeah,
send
but
him
then
with
you
some
all have like a bunch of characters. Because
bodyguards.
in Ars Magica, actually, that's I think that's what it says in the rules. Like you all have a wizard character, and then you have like 2 or 3 other characters that are not wizard. And then when you go on an adventure, one of the players is gonna play as wizard, and the rest of the party are gonna play like those ad hoc character, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think
And then
that's
you
probably
take turn of like playing the wizard.
I think that's probably the
Uh,
best way to do it.
Be a lot of cool map room kind of stuff that you can integrate into
Yeah.
that. You know, kind of like, you know, in Skyrim, you know, they have the
Bringing a
little map.
BTT in, right?
You know, just you know, just like an image of like, you know, the territory, and then you can kind of like, you know, yes, and then we will send this guy to here and blah blah. And it, maybe it's one of those where you have that little segment where he's traveling down that road, and you know, he's
Well,
the advisor.
Yep.
Yeah.
You wouldn't play the you would send like we're gonna send Ralph to where the
Yeah.
kingdom
Ralph
of
the
fuck
wizard.
not, of
Yeah.
the fuck not, but
And that would be Max, and we'd send Max out, and he'd be
Yeah,
like, "Oh
but,
fuck,
like
I gotta do this shit." Yeah,
you wouldn't like I wouldn't play that. I would just like you get a message back or he's returned.
Yeah.
Right. So either you get lost in like it's been much longer than the time he should have come back, or he has come back with information. Like
Yeah.
that's all you get from that. Like because
But
especially if you're playing a fantasy world, right? Like once the messenger's gone out the door, it's a question mark until assumptions can be made. Or
Another thing you could do to borrow from Azimuth here is everyone kind of decides what their main character's objective is in the session, and then you kind of pick which one you want to send alternate characters on and go to an adventure.
But it's almost like you have to do like
I like that one.
okay, this session, you're gonna be the lead, and you're gonna be like the guy like doing the, or whatever.
So you're talking about having multiple characters per player for this game.
Yeah,
Well,
true
possibly, yeah.
Like ours match.
I think I think I'm okay with that. But in one session you play one character, right?
Oh yeah, because the session is the we went to the wedding, or the session is the I'm going to the frontier to make sure that the guard towers are built correctly, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
It's
going to old
kind of
sport.
the vision I had with our space station thing, with
Yeah.
for Traveler, was to have
yeah.
like a central hub. People can go ahead and set up shop, and do things. They could have multiple players, multiple characters, and then they can go ahead and do things. If they're busy on a journey, they can use another character with the
Yeah.
current group and play that way.
Almost
Yeah.
kind of like a West March or
Yeah.
West March in space.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because there's a lot of times you can't get the same group of guys together again.
Yeah, that's
People are
definitely
busy,
good in
yeah.
troop play. Who cares
Yeah.
if everyone's there?
Yeah.
No one cares.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing like a space station or people living in a village, you could like, okay, so this week I hung out with these people. Next week I hung out with those people.
Hmm.
Right? Like
That too.
whoever's at the tavern
Yeah.
that week.
Hey, how come no one's here at the tavern today?
Are you just doing your job, right?
Yeah.
That's something Nicholas say there. Like you do have to have some time skip, wouldn't you? Because other than one thing is done, the nobleman will most likely do boring stuff for the rest of the day. Again, also like it's always out to like, oh, I'm just gonna go hunting for the rest of the day. Well, something can happen during you go hunting, right? Somebody tried to
Yeah.
assassinate you then, right? So it's
Yeah.
hard to
I
tell,
feel like stuff takes a while. It's not
but
like
that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Stuff takes a while. Like I think
yeah.
when you do and either mass combat or domain play, I think we've shifted to domain play now. We're probably gonna go back to mass combat a little later.
Okay.
But in both of them, like you order some people to do some stuff, it's gonna take a long time before stuff get resolved, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not instantaneous.
But like, especially if you're doing more than one session in the world, right? Like you could like set up something, have some melodrama go on, or preferably actual drama, and then the next session you hear the results of the thing you set up during the first session.
Yeah, you should definitely hear the
But if any-
results of all those. If we were doing the
Yeah.
idea where everyone has a mission
Yeah.
and you send guys, you probably have to do some quick resolutions on the ones that you don't go on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the thing too. You still need time skip because even if you, because some of those, especially if you do like medieval time stuff, right? Those missions can take weeks, sometimes months,
Well,
right?
that's why I
Yeah, of
said
course.
do it, but have it
Yes.
like the next session you get the result, right? Like you have to set up.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe
still
you get
involve
the
a time skip, right?
yeah. Well,
Even if it's time skip in between session.
yeah, but it's less jarring, I think, between sessions.
I like the idea of starting the session with the resolution of all the other things. I think that's a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
Because then you can kind of set up, it kind of keeps it fresh in your mind, and then you set up what you want to do next.
Yeah, your responses, and then
Yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah.
your what else is going on, right? Like, oh, it's the improvs and if or not and if and then I can't remember what it is, but it's like something comes at you and then you ask what's
Yes,
next.
and
Yes, and
I still don't know what that means. I'm very excited
that.
about
well,
it.
it's a goofy
I hate
statement,
improv.
but it's you ever watch one of those improv shows like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
I
They
myself
throw
am
some
an improver, as is stated by
Who?
my critics.
It's okay to improv, right? Like
I'm pro improv.
yeah,
Uh,
like,
When I get called things, I like to see if it's bad. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? I don't hate it.
yeah, but like
I don't hate improv per se. I hate
Yeah.
like people that do improv. That's the
Oh,
Sure, but I
yeah,
don't
because-
hate doing it.
It's an important nuance.
Yeah, it's a skill you should learn because it's like you being able to be on your feet and responsive to things, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's a
and
muscle.
it's all about oh, that just happened. Here's how I'm going to respond to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I like what I like
yeah.
what the spawner said there. The next, that one there, Crusader Kings. I'm a big fan of Crusader Kings. I have all the Crusader Kings.
Yeah.
And I love that game. It would be a good if you're a role player, okay, or you're into role playing games,
Mhm.
and you want to emulate what domain would be. Yeah, Crusader Kings is an excellent example. You have all your characters; they take care of their own plots of land and everything, so they all have their own things they're doing. And it's
those
crazy
are the
fun.
NPCs.
NPCs. They could also be other players. You know, when you think about it. Yeah.
What the spawner asked here is like, can you talk about what the main play is? Is the player spending time in the king's court? It can be that, or is it like the game Crusader King but with roleplay? And those last 3 words, but with roleplay, actually that's what we're trying to figure out tonight, because oftentimes the main play is like Crusader King by end without roleplay.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to talk about like how could we bring roleplay back into it, right? That's what I'm trying to figure out tonight.
So let's talk about how we would do that initial part of the session as a role play event. Like, how would you role play the initial part of the session? Because there's a lot of system stuff. We're generating results for what all those other people did, because the one that everyone went on the adventure, everyone knows the result of that, and then generated results for the rest of them, right?
Yeah.
So was that
like the how you got your domain in the first
how do you
place?
role play it?
No, I do role play in the domain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you would go. Everybody would be first in through the eyes of their characters, obviously, all the way through. You could start it off as a general meeting of the court.
Yeah, I like the idea of having like a very standardized, like, oh, it's the weekly meeting at the table with the hand or whatever that shit was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
like that is happening.
Same thing could happen on the space station too. There could be a weekly meeting going.
And ideally, there's some catty drama.
A mission briefing.
Yes.
That there's drama, like someone snubs somebody in proper greeting form or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and next thing you know, you're retaliating by having them assassinated.
Or comes in drunk because all of their efforts have failed.
Should I tell you about?
I just really want to play a drunk noble. Apparently,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, should I tell you about Pendragon a bit?
Yes, please.
In Pendragon, it's implied that you're going to play like a knight that is going to be like the lord of a manor, right? So domain play is kind of baked in the game to some extent, because you start the game, you're a knight, you have your manor. Am I saying that word right?
Manor,
yes.
Yeah, close enough.
Yes, that's it.
Absolutely wrong, you French bastard.
It's pronounced manor.
Manor.
No.
Manor.
Manoir.
Manoir. Yeah.
You always correct the pronunciation of a Frenchman. That's That's all.
But
you got me drinking this, buddy. Sorry, as a side note.
Oh man, is it the 101?
Wild turkey.
Right, that's
you told me to drink it.
Well, is it the 101 or is it the 80 proof?
I'll figure it out. You go ahead and say your point. Apologize for interrupting you.
Oh, that's important.
40.5%, so 81.
Yeah, the 101 is much smoother, much better.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
But it's hard to find nowadays.
I was gonna say this is nothing really special.
Yeah, well, it's good. It's drinkable.
It's good.
Yeah. It's drinkable.
Yeah.
Nutty.
And it's not expensive, that's for sure.
Exactly. It's quite good for the price. That's the thing. Yeah. That's why I drink that.
$20.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but so in Pendragon, so you have a manor, and in Pendragon there's this thing, because like there's time skip by the rules as written. It's like every session, because you're gonna do like one adventure. Your knight is gonna go like on one adventure during the year, and then the rest of the year is gonna do his normal nightly duties, and a lot of them is abstracted. You roll for that stuff and stuff like that, and then you have like what they call the winter phase, when you're gonna roll for if you're like the horse in your stable survive, if your wife get a child, or if you get a child with some other woman, right? If you want to do this kind of thing, and if the children that you had survive when they're young and stuff like that. So you have like a bunch of roll like that, and you don't have much decision into it. You have some decision in the sense like you can decide like the standard of living you're gonna live in, like how much money you want to spend during the winter or during the year. And if you live like more luxuriously, you're gonna have like better chance in your role and stuff like that. That's pretty much but it's like it still gives you some story of what happened in your life, and and like you don't manage your mana yourself, so that's why like you don't have many decision, right? You're a knight that's below you, so you're supposed to do knight stuff. And also there's like you go to court at Christmas, and then like you have like some
Christmas
chance
court.
to do like some what?
Christmas court.
Yeah, the Christmas court. That's what it's called.
That's cool.
And then you do like
I want to
the
go to a fancy Christmas party in Pendragon.
yeah, and then but then that's the point, like where all the lord meet each other and the ladies and stuff like that, and you gotta get some occasion to do some role play there, and hear some fuck, I cannot speak tonight or any night.
Rumors.
You need more
Rumors.
wild turkey.
Yeah,
You're
Well,
allowed
I'll
to
help.
you're allowed to speak English badly. It's just other
No,
languages
he
that
isn't.
people care.
and sometimes the crops aren't bountiful, right? And sometimes like you have like a poor harvest, and then like, well, now you're gonna be a little poorer in the next year and stuff like that, and maybe it's something that can seed some role play thing. Maybe now you want to do a deal with some lord, like I'll do this job for you, but you can spare some wheat for my people or whatever, right? Just like,
Right.
I don't know if Pendragon is a game I really love, but there's some mechanic like that I find sometimes are a little too mechanical. But
The
maybe it
crop
works.
one I would rip. I'd rip the. I would use the crop one. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Like if you had like a D6 and you had like
Yeah.
super bountiful to like barely anything grew.
Yeah.
Like
And then
subsistence.
sometimes like, you
or
can have like peasant revolt based on that as well, or like or different thing. You have bandits coming up,
now
or like
I would role play those opportunities based on your responses to the like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the peasant revolt be a thing that was die rolled. That should be a result of the player's actions.
or inaction. Yeah.
Yeah, are in that. Well, that's still an action, right?
I don't know. I guess you have to do some like random event stuff. Is that how it works? Is that
Yeah,
what the
like the
GM's
weather.
It is
Sure.
how it
I'm
works.
really curious as to see what you think the GM's responsibility in a domain game is. So I feel like you
What-
have to put in some conflict that isn't just
Foreign emissaries
The
and
push.
Yes, like that's like Pendragon is one example of like it's kind of like it's there but kind of on the side. It's not something you actively engage with, right? It's something like at the end of the session, next session is going to be a year later, so at the end of the session just like say what's gonna happen between like the end of this session and the start of the next one, right? The winter phase. So it's kind of like it's that's one way of saying like, well, you have a domain and stuff happen and you're responsible for that. You have like some choice to make, and at some point you get more than one domain as well. You can get like multiple manners, but it's one way like to maybe at one extreme like you really abstract it, right? It's still there, but you don't engage much with it. Then there's the other end that you could have, where you do like always in the court, and all your session is talky about like, oh, okay, what we're gonna do about this problem? Okay, send those guy out there, and then next problem, and then you basically hold court the whole fucking session, every session. That would be the other extreme, maybe, right?
I think that method would work better with the style you guys play, though.
every style
I'm-
works better with the style we use. I'm just gonna throw that down on the
Except for the board gamey style.
except
Come
for the
on,
board
come on.
gaming style, which is
Yeah.
what we're trying to figure out now. This domain.
Yeah. But I'm not even sure, because like that's a problem. It would work well if you were like a one guy, one player, one GM.
I think that the troop play solves that, because you're gonna end up with some combat. You're gonna end up with some talkie at the start of every session,
Yeah.
because you're
But if
having
you
the
do
meeting
troop
at the
play,
round table.
You're going to have
You're to play,
visitors
y'all.
too. You know,
You have visitors too. If you want to do a talkie game, you get to choose it too. So like you have however many players, you have that many different options for the day. You pick the one you want. One of them's probably going to be more combat sounding. One of them's probably going to be more diplomatic.
But you
just
also
gotta
have like
do what you want.
this separation between like, okay, now we do domain play, and now we go regular play, right? With the troop.
Yeah, well, you still want to, check in with the old main characters, and occasionally there's going to be some dragons flies in and blows the shit out of everything. You guys got to man the walls or something.
With a little white hair girl riding it.
Yeah, of course there is.
Yeah.
I think it's a fucking solid game concept, to be honest. I would like to play it.
Chicks with platinum hair are hot.
We can do it in sci-fi land. Look at this little map Rick
Sci-fi.
got.
We do a sci-fi fantasy kind of thing. I mean,
Star
using
Wars?
Traveler as a.
But not Star Wars. No laser swords.
Not Star Wars.
Specifically,
Like Star
no
Wars.
laser swords. That's the only difference.
No
That's
laser
the only
swords.
rule. I call it a pulse blade.
The server requires the two.
Yeah, there could be it's nice
There
to
you
use
go.
a system
Lies,
like
everything.
Written Lies, I freaking loved your video, man.
Yeah, it was
Hilarious.
good, man. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
was.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't
but-
leave a comment. I will. I promise.
The system you use is, I would say, would be important, and this would kind of crawl back into the with forces and stuff like that. If you use something like Traveler has the you're looking at the degrees of successes, and you're kind of looking at it. Will this be a impossible fight? Will this be a hard fight? Will this be an easy fight? So you can easily do your rolls on resolving those sorts of things by increments of successes on top as well, or increments of failure as well below the threshold that you're looking for. Same thing with Cypher. Cypher has the challenge rate that you're looking at, and the same thing. You roll the die, you see whether or not you can beat it. You adjudicate whatever you can to reduce that challenge rating down a little further by other people saying, I do this, or whatever they're doing,
Assists.
whatever skills assisting, and you can adjudicate that a lot easier with those kinds of systems. With something like D&D or like that sort of thing, they don't have like a
Integrated.
increments or skill level increments and stuff like that, levels of
Right.
success, so a little bit harder, but
Yeah, you
Do
can
whatever
always
you want.
advocate it.
you
Yeah,
can maybe
you gotta say,
make a
like,
chart.
the world's alive. Will that mean that by reacting to X problem, the secret Y problem goes forward? Yes.
Yeah.
You have if you have a limited resource to allocate.
But I don't want to gamify it.
But
I think
that-
that's
that-
the trap. You don't
Yeah.
want to gamify it too
No, I
much. You want it to be
I agree with
very
that.
narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Can you highlight Azimuth's comment after Justin says what he
I
says?
was going to say that the XY thing that's real though. Like I've seen that in work problems where we've had to allocate
Yeah.
resources to things. And
Yeah, it reminds me of XCOM.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you knew what I did for a living.
Is it XCOM?
Yes. You shoot the alien in the face.
Are you in charge of a squad of soldiers that go against alien threats?
Not alien.
That's
Well,
pretty-
We're fucked.
yes, we are. If I'm at that level, yes, we are.
It's like, you're the best we got. It's like, fuck, I gotta move.
Uh,
We gotta move to the woods.
to the moon.
Yeah.
I gotta move to the moon.
I've got some real estate right over here.
So
long as it
I
does
just
my
want to see
rubber
Azimuth because
That's not his campaign map. That's his sales board.
That's right. This is where I'm at right now. Let me
So
help
Azimuth
myself
has
get
worked
there a
well
little
in
bit
my
more.
Sorry. As I say, it has worked well in my long-term campaign. Separation is reinforced by just not different character, but different level of strength. Each secondary character is more squishy. Yeah, I think that's a
so
good.
I wanted to point out that because we are always doing one shots. This
Yes.
like idea of troop play, domain play, this kind of combination of those two things, you're gonna have. It's like everything's a one shot.
Yes.
It's like you're always playing a one shot. Your characters are all disposable. And it's fucking fun as shit. And you make these cool dramatic moments. Like let's say Father Sisbin, to take it. Let's say he wins and he goes back. He's in the court. He's
Yeah.
just it's like nothing ever happened. I dumped those guys off a cliff. And we're fine.
That's something
Like, that's kind of cool. You end up with these cool like
Yeah.
dark
Where, like,
secrets from his
Yeah.
adventures. And,
well, now that Captain Anderson is back, like I'm making his report and like with the
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
doctor.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I did that little thing, that little blurb,
Yeah.
my report at the end,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But,
I think it's a great medium for what we're trying to do.
What if we had like this campaign world
Mhm.
and then we do like one session that is all domain play. We're all like top level guy. Maybe the king's NPC, and we're all like advisors and stuff like that, controlling each like a few underling, like lower level character. And then we decide, okay, there's this problem, this problem, this problem. Okay, we're gonna send those guys do this, and those guys do that, and those guys. And then next three or four session, we role play those guys, like those team that have been sent to solve this and this problem, right?
Yeah, like
And then we come back to the console. Maybe like even like, well, those guys are done, those guys are done, those guys not quite, but we go back to the console. Those guys are still out, not available for the next mission. Would that be something that could be cool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of doing like the beginning of the session and then we switch mode, switch character middle of session.
That's
No,
kind of
not in the
what I was
middle.
getting at, but no, not in the middle.
Well,
like,
in the first quarter or whatever.
Like-
Oh, you're saying like after we do the meeting?
Yeah.
Like when I was saying earlier, the council, like the king and his advisors, the other
There we
domain
go.
people.
Are we there now?
We're here right now. We've changed modes.
Yeah. When I was saying the earlier the council in domain play sends the people out and it's question mark to them. Your next session could be playing that question mark.
Oh my
Yeah,
god! Imagine
and-
having a dark secret that's against the kingdom or something. That'd be fucking fun as shit to play, man.
Yeah.
Like
How
you're
many
a spy.
characters should everybody needs?
Yeah. Well, you're
Everybody.
you're a spy and his support staff. Maybe you're like trying to get like your mission could be send an invitation to Duke what's his face to the wedding that was mentioned. Because your king is getting married to the local hottie. Do they get there? When do they get there? Do they get attacked? Because maybe Duke what's his face likes hottie.
Yeah.
You know, and wants your
God,
guy's
so-
dead and you dead because he wants like what's her face.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah.
sets off a or maybe they
Dude.
return. Maybe they return the session after for the council meeting with he's gonna be there on such and such date.
The goals are going to be super. You can get so much juice out of the goals of those advisors.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
going to just
Yeah.
elevate everything.
Especially
It's
like
gonna be
if
so
everybody
cool.
wants to climb, everybody wants to become more important and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It could be very interesting.
Everyone wants to.
Maybe one of the guys
bang that
in the
hot
troop,
princess.
right? Maybe one of the
Yeah.
guys in the troop want to move out of the troop and become like one of those important asshole, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Could
You
you
have
even
to,
even
you
have
have to
like
kill your main character. That's the rule.
character versus character among like the own character that you play?
Yeah.
Well, you don't know. Like that party comes back, right? And were they bought off to assassinate you? You never know that. Back in the
Yeah.
old days, they never knew that. Right?
So we do like the king be like a drunken fool, not interested in the
I mean, I hear you with the king being an NPC, but that's also like kind of the most interesting character to play.
NPC or like a
I
drunk
don't
fool
I
that
don't
doesn't,
subscribe
or
to the
like a
don't let
child.
anyone be the king.
Yeah.
Let someone be the king because they're gonna.
Yeah, I would be
enjoy it.
okay with that. I would be okay with that.
We're awesome. I trust you guys.
And it could be a king
Flip
also
a
that
quarter on.
actually listen to, like, he's not necessarily a tyrant. Listen to the advisor, so it's not always.
He's got
like, his
goals
word.
though. He's got
Yeah, he
short
got
term,
goals.
long term,
Yeah.
and it's and he might be just a total hedonist. You know, he might be.
Well,
once
when
again,
it's
he's
your
a
turn.
drunkard.
When it's your turn to play, yeah.
Once again, it's Robert Baratheon that I'm rolling.
Yeah, and you know, when we talk about that, it
I
always
believe
makes me
it's
think about, like, what Azimuth
Roberto.
was talking about us the other day about the scene selection. It almost come back to that in a sense, right? Because now you have like those different problems that are presented. We send people in there, and then we're gonna pick among those scenes to role play. So
Of
we're almost like
course.
circling back to what Azimuth was telling us.
That's what I'm saying. Use the azimuth method.
Their
You have,
their
like,
journey,
your-
their
Every
journeys,
session you generate the cards.
yeah,
Yeah.
their journeys there aren't going to be like uneventful. There's going to be like stuff that they run into along the way. You know, your people, so you can always have cool stuff happening.
Fuck you!
And
You
it
don't
could-
even
like,
know
all
what kind of
those
shit.
adventure. Like could be like 1 shot, 2 shot, maybe even more, a little longer. If you know.
Well, if
And
you're
like
going to
this
do
game we're
this,
playing now in the
Depends
desert,
on the adventure.
that could be one of those missions, right? Oh, like maybe we could have
Yeah.
those, and then like
right?
Yeah, like Rick is
And
the
then
main
Alaric
character.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like, no, well, a character like Alaric has been sent. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Like
Like
You mean
he's
a
the one that
thing
was
like
tasked, and the
Rick
rest
would
of
be
you
the
are
Cast,
wizard
yeah.
in the
and
Ars
then with the guy
Magica.
that Rick picked to come along with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Where like, and if you're doing another one besides the one you've already done, you don't even know how much shit these people will get in before they even leave the city,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yep.
Dude, yeah.
they might
we should
be.
we should probably let Crispy know that he's actually GMing a domain game.
No.
Probably
Don't tell
inform
him. Do not tell him. It's
Yeah, we'll
funnier when he
we'll just-
finds out afterwards.
Yeah. Just make it happen.
We'll just make characters.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll just make a bigger character.
You just make characters. You tell him to create like a seneschal or something like that for the session after.
Make
whoever's
Max be
hosting.
the boy king. That'd be
The
cool.
boy
Oh,
king.
Yeah, he's like eight,
Yeah.
and a
Cool.
drunk.
I want to Oompa Loompa now.
Those aren't real, sir. And how do you even know them?
Oh, I want to reply to Azimit there. The link to my Discord is just because I always like copy those links are temporary, and I always like copy the description from the previous link, and I always forget to change it because I'm an idiot.
Well,
so I'll post in
bro,
the I'll
create a
post in the-
standard one.
What?
Create a standard one.
We're-
So in
that
Oh
Discord,
yeah,
right?
good.
We're gonna have
in-
to boost his server so he gets a permanent one.
in Discord, yeah, no, you
Oh,
just
is that
have
what
to go
you
to
mean?
the top, and when you hit invite, there's like permanent. It's the last option
Yeah,
on the list.
I barely do anything with my Discord to be honest, but I put the link in the. I spend more time on your Discord, Rick, than on mine.
Yeah.
We're the place where all the action's happening. Yeah.
Max's
Yeah,
Discord
I
is for the
posted it.
hot takes.
Yeah, I
Sort
use
of
mine
hot
for
take.
I use mine for what
Yeah.
I couldn't see on
Max's
yours.
hot takes.
Oh,
I post the link in the description in the chat there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
So I'm excited. Should we talk mass combat or?
yeah, I
Haven't
think we came to something interesting there with the decided like domain play, right?
Yeah,
I wasn't
did.
too sure about
Well,
it.
before we move on, let's talk about that initial session. So there's some kind of role. Maybe you apply, let's say traveler rules. There's some kind of role, you apply some kind of bonus to it based on your noble skills. I don't know. To determine
Sure.
like the things that you don't go out and do the one shot with. And then
Oh,
they
like
find out
the-
the result and then they 4D.
Is
like-
there a thing you don't go out to do the one shot with, or do we role play all of it?
Well, you're effectively time skipping all the other things that you didn't do.
Or
Unless
maybe
you
we can
really
do them
want
in parallel. Like we do
You
one
can do 'em.
session. We do one
You can
like
go back in
there's
time
4
and do
issues
'em.
coming up. Maybe we're gonna address 3 of them, and
Yeah.
one has to wait because we don't have the resource. Or maybe one of them is NPC'd. That we
Some of
just
them are
role play.
probably going to be super important. There might be 2 like really important ones.
Yeah,
you wanna
I
do.
like the idea. I like the idea of like like now we do like
Consequence.
this 1 shot or 2 shot here solving
Mm-hmm.
this issue, and then like in a different part of the world we do another 1 shot or 2 shot solving this issue,
Yeah,
and those 2 happen in the same time basically.
but then
Yeah.
like you
But
get to the
there's-
end of one of them that was awesome, and you're like, "Can we do the next thing?" And everyone's like, "But I got a farm." You're like, "Okay, roll some dice, bitch."
Well, I assume
I don't care
they'll
about
be
your
different.
farming.
I assume you'll be like different characters. Like if you're
Yeah.
doing the one
Yeah, course.
one shot, you have like a
That's why
pool of
it would work.
characters. Like
Yeah,
why it
you, you just like randomly generate a bunch of freaking names.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah,
like
with all the same
these
stats
are
now.
the people in the roster of people on.
I
And then
mean,
you
you
just
kind of develop it with every session. You'll develop kind of like a pool of
Play
guys.
my Rook's wife and I'll send all the kids.
Well, like
What do I do with all these pigs?
well, the list of names is like placeholders until you actually create those characters to
Yeah,
put in the
exactly.
world. They're just like this is how many people we have that can be dispatched on different things, right? Until
Maybe you
until
need
they
to go on a
die or get
recruiting
replaced.
drive.
Yeah.
There's another thing I want
Um,
to talk about also with domain play now. Like we're going into something awesome, but I still think I need to. Unless you wanted to say something, Phil, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
I want to take I wanted to
Very
mention
good.
one thing that's important, especially if you do like and that's also something I want to talk about. Medieval fantasy versus modern sci-fi thing. I think that's going to be a big impact in the domain play as well. But before,
Yeah.
but kind of linked to that, I want to talk about because we often go by default to the medieval thing. like the unreliable information, right? And the slowness of travel information. I think that's an important thing to consider as well. No, we mentioned like, oh, you resolve those things by a road, but I think there should be quite the delay. Like,
Yeah.
they need to be this uncertainty. They need to be this waiting game. Like,
There's
you know,
a built-in time skip though with every
session.
every table meeting, like every kind of
Yeah.
meeting with the hand. There's
Yeah.
Right.
an implied time skip since the last meeting, right?
Yeah, like
maybe
a
meet,
week.
once
like
a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the weekly meeting or the whatever. Well, that's
Maybe,
why I
maybe
said
once in
you
a
have
while it's gonna be like a emergency meeting, right, or whatever. I don't know.
yeah. Well, that's why I said you have like the question mark of what's happened to the people you've dispatched,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? Until you get that information back, or it's been well over the amount of time they should have returned in.
Yeah.
You know.
Hello, Dice Tale. And I think
We're all
what we're trying to
Brosar.
figure out is like very different than what the
Brosar.
Brosar people are doing.
Oh yeah.
But
You know,
Oh,
I
do
don't-
BroSR have a solution to this?
yes. Well, they do it. They do it in a very different way. They do like the one time, and they
Oh,
do the which a lot of people misunderstand. So if you're not sure what it is, I can explain.
I
So
don't-
a lot of
I know
by
one
post,
wrong with the
play by
Brosar.
post.
one at a
Sorry?
time.
Is
What?
a
No.
lot of play by post kind of idea. They
do
put
a
all their
play by
ideas.
post.
In,
Yeah.
yeah.
But what they do, like when they say like one time, people say like, oh, it takes you 3 weeks to get there, so you cannot play for like that's not how it works. You can like go forward in time during a session, but it just means that you won't be able to play those characters again until the time has caught up
Right.
with those characters. So then you
Right.
play like it's true play and play basically.
So if your session
But,
took 2 months of in-game time, then you wouldn't be able to play those characters for 2 months.
For 2 months until
Of
like
real
the other
world.
characters have caught up, right? And
I
the
gotcha.
real time world have caught up.
Ah.
Which solve some issues. And I have no problem with the OBROSR. I think what they do is
Sounds
pretty
fine.
awesome. Like they have like a very different way of looking at the hobby than we do.
Yeah.
But I love people that have a theory and think about it and try something, right? And are kind of experimenting as well. They go for a different direction, but I think that's cool.
That sounds fine, but I don't know if we're playing this game every time. You know, maybe we are. But if you're
What do you
not
mean?
playing the game every time, then
Oh no, you
Probably
need,
gonna be
you need to
longer.
be quite committed, right? Yeah.
yeah.
But like,
Even worse.
it's not that's not the style that I'm looking for. That's not the kind of engagement with the hobby that I'm looking for.
Neither here.
But I always love people like trying to figure stuff out and trying to do stuff, right?
Yeah.
Trying to
It
improve.
sounds
it.
like a solution. I don't know if it'd probably be a better solution if that's the only game you're playing.
But it's
I-
also
I-
like a solution to a problem that I'm not feeling, and like the solution that I would provide for the game, or solution to problem that they're not feeling, right? So just like we have different optic.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
There's no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, I used to play with a group of guys back in school back in 1980s, and there was a bit of we were playing a bit of domain play. We had this big map. It was all on graph paper, of course. We didn't have much hex paper back then, and we had all the kingdoms
I've never
all
seen
lined up.
Hex paper. Is it cool? Sorry.
Yeah, it was cool when it came out. And we had all the armies and everything all spread out on this map and everything. And you know, every time we would meet up, it would be all changed because everybody's moving stuff. All the players are moving their armies and stuff like that. But we were still playing D&D in certain areas. So I understand what they're doing and what the appeal is of it. But yeah. But it is,
Yes,
you know,
it's
it's
a
cool.
hybrid board game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid
Yeah.
board game.
And there's nothing wrong with it if it's what you want to do, right?
Yeah,
I
for sure.
totally agree. I love to play hybrid board games. I think of it more as like I want to put role playing in my board games because role playing is
Well,
cool.
Like I think of it like I play role playing game for the unique thing that role playing can do,
Yeah,
which is role playing. So I want to lean into that, right? Just like
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
the written lies say when a scene has run its course, a cue or telegraph could be given to try to hide the table talk on how to move forward. I think like we've been trying to do that, and we've been getting better at it, right?
Mhm.
Would you say?
I
Phil?
think that Justin stumbled onto a badass solution where or maybe intentionally stated.
No,
But,
nothing was intentional.
But the idea of a montage sounds like the best way to do a time skip ever.
Yeah, and honestly, like I find it very interesting. I think we should talk
Yeah,
about that at some
we should
point.
do
Maybe
more
like maybe at the end of the
montages.
stream, if we still have time,
Yeah.
we
I
can
want
talk
a
about like how do we do a
montage.
montage.
Yeah.
I think it could be an interesting issue.
especially with like the things like the training incidences or shopping or like the things people don't want to do but you should do because it builds the character.
Can we talk about it for a second?
Obviously, this is the anything but mass combat episode.
Okay. Anything but mess.
You want to think about the montage for a second?
Just for a minute. What if the GM says 2 weeks pass?
Yeah.
And a montage begins, and then it's just like everyone just starts round robining their efforts in a montage style.
We've never done that, but that would be kind of interesting.
Oh, I definitely said 2 weeks pass once.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you didn't do the montage afterward. Like I think
did
it
not
would
do
be
a
interesting going like,
montage.
okay, what do you do? The first action you do, and you say like, I build a camp. I spent 3 days building a camp. Okay.
Yeah,
Then you
but
go back
you
to the
have
next
to
one.
describe it as a montage. So you're like, I'm sweating, I'm hammering the fucking.
Oh.
Like you have to describe what you're doing in that montage, and it's
In that-
badass.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I was
it's
just thinking,
super
like,
80s
about like a
style.
theory of action
Yeah,
you can
it's
do.
80s style.
You make a roll, you resolve, and then like you do like you come back to you do the next
We need to
action.
get some AI power rock going.
Yeah.
Turn it on when the montage starts, so it signifies the time
montage.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think
No
I think we need to think a bit about it, like how would be the coolest way to do it, right? The more like role play way to do it.
Yeah.
Without
I
going to
just
the-
want to get back to Phil accusing me of intentionally doing something.
I'm sorry, I gave you too much credit.
How dare
Right,
you?
right.
sir.
Okay, here we go. Right now, attempted RP montage.
Okay.
I'm mixing up my chemicals back and forth. Next, Phil.
I'm punching a punching bag. I wipe the sweat off my brow, and I look up at the
Justin.
sun or at the calendar. There's an X on the next day and a circle on the 24th.
I'm sitting in my chair.
I'm chopping down trees and like carrying big log on my shoulder.
So there we go. That's continue around, circle. Yeah.
I think that could work.
A day.
like a
Sorry,
few-
sorry.
40 of them.
Story. I role played
You have to
myself.
do one for
in
every
that.
day. There's 40 days of this.
But if we do like maybe do we agree like okay, it's gonna be a montage like 3 rounds, right?
Well,
It's interesting.
it's not your up to you. You got a fucking GM that says montage.
It just brings down the screen.
Brings down the
Montage.
montage
Everybody.
mallet.
But should it,
Do we-
should it
We
wait,
have
like,
to
on
have
all of
flash
the-
everybody's screen up one at a time, you know?
We're gonna
Get
skip
them all
2
on the
weeks
spot.
forward. Let's do a 3-round montage.
Three-round
That'll work.
montage.
And then like,
They're
there
always
can
three
go, like,
rounds.
okay,
you,
2
you show
weeks,
shit
three
and
rounds,
then
we'll do-
medium.
We'll have to
and
try
master.
that. We'll have to try that just to see if that works.
Yeah, we
you
have
know?
to think about that a little bit more. But I think it could be interesting. I think there's something cool there.
I think that's the best way to do a time skip, and I'm not even being ironic. I think it's
Okay,
probably the best way to
okay.
do it.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot better than leaving whatever
It's a lot
happens
better
to
than just
do
saying time passes.
and then just stuff appearing.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it gave us a chance to fill in this blank. Like
Yeah.
we fucking got stuck as we could have done it just in just 48, right? But just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe because it was the first time. Maybe if you do the time skip again, just like 2-week pass. Now like, oh, we've been through that before, so we wouldn't just like stuck like deer in the headlight, right? Just like
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I
but
think was,
I
but-
genuinely think giving you 2 chances to say what you did, or
Yeah.
3, like a montage, is
Yeah.
probably better than just giving you 1.
Yeah.
So it gives you a chance to play off what the other people did if you wanted to, or just showing how badass you kick a punching bag.
Yep.
Or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck you're doing.
Dice Tale is saying to answer Max's issue. That's a big one. That's a tough one.
What issue?
Yeah, or just one singular.
He's just answering them all right here. Okay.
All
Yeah.
my issues, like you're gonna be fucking here all night, man.
All right. We better read Dice Tales. Because
Yeah, if you have a multiple plotline in your world that are happening, then taking 2 weeks to travel somewhere allow other things to press forward. That would make travel burdensome. Yeah, that's something that
Yeah.
is important to consider as well. if you send some guy like, oh, you're gonna need 1 week to travel to this problem, and you're gonna need
What
a
issue are
month
we
to travel
talking
to this
about?
problem.
I don't understand. Maybe I drank too much.
What? No, you didn't drink enough. That's why.
Well, I haven't stopped. But what is the?
You're not
what's the
drinking right
issue?
now.
He's got it on an IV, bro.
Oh. Or like a.
I'm
10 pump
human.
booze.
Give me a break.
He's doing the wine enema only with the hard liquor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
Sorry,
was your
Phil.
issue?
No, I don't know what my issue was.
That Ice Tail's just solved.
Oh,
I don't know what my issue was, but I still talk about like traveling being burdensome because like, oh, if it takes you
Yeah.
2
Oh,
weeks
okay.
to get
So
there,
maybe
then
he's
things
saying
evolve.
that travel back will allow you to. I don't know. I mean, you should account for travel back in your calculations as to who gets to go next in the one-shot adventure in domain play that we're talking about. If it was solved. Thank you, guys. Handled it.
It was
Stop
some
worrying about
montage.
it. That's why you're not worried about it anymore.
Yeah.
Your issue.
Yeah.
Making
Nicolas
time.
say, play Feast of Legend again, do a montage there.
yeah,
It's a lot of
montage that.
fries, just eating fries.
Be like skip.
Rick
Please?
really hated that game.
I
I'm
hated
realizing
it.
now more and
You hated
more
it?
how much he hated it.
You're not enjoying it, right? Just
What
like, I
was
don't know.
it?
It was funny, but it was just too corny.
Was
Yeah.
it mostly
Yeah.
because your food didn't show up?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because
You were
Yeah, I
hungry.
was kind
You
of
were
cranky that day. That I was so pissed.
I tell
So
you,
pissed.
I tell you, we order from there all the time, and they never get the fucking order right.
I
Never get
fucking
the
hate
order right.
DoorDash. They never get anything right.
Well, it's not
always
DoorDash.
full.
They only pick the bag up, right?
Yeah, it's the dishes
It's
and shit like
DoorDash
that.
here. I can tell you
No,
that.
I never did any of those things, but I always live in place where like nobody lives, so those services are not available. I don't like living around people.
We're bringing it over. We're doing the montage.
The guy stands the door of his car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just putting the
I don't know,
patties
I feel
on.
like, I said that fun in that game. I struggled because I don't know much about fast food.
It's
like-
odd how much you say you struggle because I think you were the best in that game. I think you were the player that did
I
the
don't-
best.
Yeah,
Myself included. I think you did the best. You made it
Well,
the funniest. And that's all I want to
funny
say.
me? I'm not funny at all. I don't have a sense of humor.
I don't know why it worked, man, but you were the
That's
funniest
hilarious,
guy in that
bro.
game. It was really weird how you see it, but you were the funniest guy in that game.
Well, thank you.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I think
mass combat yet or no?
Anything to add on the domain play? I think, man. I think we.
I'm
we
very
came to
excited to
something
do
cool.
a domain play game.
Yeah.
If
I
we're
hope
not doing
Crispy,
that next,
doesn't
I don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Crispy said he might join later.
system? What's the system that's best for domain play?
Oh, that's the other thing when you talk about mass combat.
Obviously, Traveler.
About mass combat, about domain play. Fuck, man. That's the next thing we need to talk about domain play before we move on to mass combat.
Yeah.
Modern, sci-fi, fantasy, medieval, ancient, whatever.
First of all, World of Darkness domain play. I'm really interested in it and playing like Vampire Prince with his Primogen. That sounds
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah, that's good work. I could see that.
But I don't know what that looks like.
A bit
It's
more
kind of a
erotic.
smaller. It's kind of a smaller scale than like a kingdom,
Yeah,
but
the princedom.
a princedom. It's just a city. It's called a city. But
County.
I'm a big World of Darkness fanboy, I guess.
Oh,
What system do you think would be best?
You say I still don't really understand how to play the
All
main
right, let's
play from your
explain it to
reviews.
forums for God's sakes.
So while we can kind of make a resume of what we say. I think the important thing in domain play is to avoid going into the spreadsheet mode, like stepping out of character, going
Let's say
into like
let's say it in
sort of-
2D terms, and then we can expand it out to 4D terms. What is domain play?
domain play is when you control a kingdom, a keep, a domain. You make decision about like what to improve. You have this population you have to keep happy and stuff like that. All this kind of like higher level stuff when you are a ruler, not just
Making a
like
lot of
guy-
managerial decisions.
Yes.
That's
Correct.
That's very traditional domain play,
Yes.
but honestly,
Yeah, we're
I
talking
think
2D domain play now.
Yeah. Okay. I'll
Yeah.
wait for my critique.
Yes.
Sorry. Thank you.
No, you don't get to say thank you. You accused me of being.
Hey, Nicolas,
Of
especially the
being
woman, eh?
creative
From the,
and
in the lower area,
intelligent.
pretty
Yeah.
thick.
You accused me of being smart. That's wrong, Phil. Wrong.
I apologize.
Yeah.
I don't accept it. See, that's role playing.
And
I'm role playing that I'm mad.
You're role playing an
Say-
angry person.
how do we manage time and immersion? That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, it's a little
You
little
do it by
easier for
session. Who
yeah,
cares?
it's, those bro SR guys, have it a little easier because they're kind of thinking outside of the head a lot. But with us, it would have to the key is looking through the eyes of your character.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this makes it a little bit more challenging but interesting at the same time. It
So-
could work, It could.
So
really
4D
work.
is very much you hear a lot. We talk about don't tell me a story. GM shouldn't have a story, but really 4D is almost all about story.
Yeah.
Like it's about making a really good story, and
it's making a story. We're not there to
so
be the
that's
audience.
what we would focus on in a domain game. All the little stories that take place with making these managerial decisions,
Yes.
and that's kind of
Like-
what we're talking.
Yeah.
If we want to do the domain play in 4D, you want to stay in character. So it's not just about like, oh, I send a guy to do this and I make a deal with this lord for that, right? No, you have to move your ass there and talk to this lord and make the deal. And he wants something and he doesn't want to tell you what he wants because he's trying to get maybe a little more. And then you have to figure out what he wants so you can offer him. And just like all this kind of back and forth. And then like maybe like his people want something else, just like
Sorry. Go ahead. Finish your point. So I
no,
apologize.
I'm done. You seem to have something to say now.
Dude, what if you have to there's like a specific task you have to send the spy master, and the spy master needs a specific elite skilled guy like a shape changer or like something like that. Then you're like, okay, one of these players is the spy master, one of them is like the shapeshifter, one of them is like the quick sleight of hand thief. I don't know. I'm just so fucking excited about
Like your whole.
gameplay.
I think that's very cool.
You
we
almost
need a thief. We need like a
you almost fill out every party member.
Yeah.
Like of
The
a
king
traditional-
develops the party, and then it's like, I don't know. There's just so much potential here for cool shit.
or like
Sean has a good-
every lead guy that is responsible for like this mission. Or like, I'm gonna need those guy with me, right?
Oh yeah,
Now-
make the lead guy responsible for picking the party. That's kind of
Yeah.
interesting
So
too.
the- like whoever, like, so say the king turns to whoever's not the king and says, like, out of character, pick one of your retainer characters,
Yeah,
and then assign it to that person. I would say the one rule you'd have is whoever is the king at that time is never the leader of the party on field.
Well,
yeah,
I
the
think
king
the
can't
king
be the
there-
leader.
I think like if we make like the king will probably always be the same character. I'm all right with that. You the guy that play the king, right?
Well, I
But the king
assume
would
that,
also have his guy that are directly under him, like
yeah,
king
I,
guard.
I wouldn't mind playing the king and never being the main.
but
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I also
that would be
see-
cool to me.
I also see
Yeah.
if you like lose
That'd be
enough like side missions
Yeah.
in a row or whatever, like there's the opportunity that
Well,
character could be
eventually the king goes
assassinated.
to that marriage. Eventually the king goes to that wedding.
and it's the red wedding.
Yeah, of course.
It's always the
It
red
always
wedding.
is. It always is.
That's something too as well. Like sometimes like some stuff can happen with those main guys
murder
that
that
come from the
king. Who
console,
gives a
right?
shit?
Sometimes like they're gonna be in this shit too. They go on
Yeah.
the hunt. That's
There's
what
always
always
got to be like the ability of things hitting back at that council.
and maybe that's
gotta
a suggestion
be
as well. If we say like we do one session with the top guy where we plan and we send our guy out, then maybe we do something else. Like maybe we do like some. Oh, then well, we all go to this wedding. We all go to this feast. We all go to this tourney. We all go to. Oh, I'm gonna fight in this tourney. Oh, we all go to this hunt, right? So there could still be some action with those top guy after we're done doing the planning and stuff like that. That could be cool.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
king's like, I want to be at this battle.
Yes.
Leading.
There
And-
you go.
Sword high. What a fucking badass he is.
He's just in the audience, and
He's not doing shit. He's back in the back with like 3 super bodyguards.
He's,
It's like,
he's pointing. He's pointing.
he's pointing.
a lance splinters just the wrong way, and it goes right through his eye.
Oh, fuck.
He
I gotta get
died.
out of here.
It's like the safest thing he could be doing outside of the
The form
castle.
say you're excited. I'm still struggling to get it. You need to stream domain play. To stream a domain play, that might happen
Promise you
actually.
will.
It's probably
I
gonna
want to
happen.
see it. I want to see it within the next 30 days.
Yeah, and written out saying like hard to play with a group, easier one-on-one. That was my first impression as well. But I think now we're coming up with a way to do it that could work as a group
Yeah,
in troop play, right?
yeah.
Troop play solved that.
Definitely the council part, like the actual domain part,
It's
works because
cool.
you're a group of people bouncing ideas off of each other.
Yes.
And
you're kind
having it's a relationship game, not a conflict game.
It
Well,
really helps when
it's a
the
conflict
GM
game, but-
doesn't need to prep, because the players are going to set what the adventure is going to be, and the GM's just there to referee. So
Well,
like you need a GM that doesn't need to prep the adventure. It's just there to fulfill what's going to happen.
Well,
He's probably got a couple of big bats going around that are going to make appearances places, but
pop in as emissaries. And
you need a
envoys
flexible
and
GM.
Yeah, a lot of people on the outside might be like totally confused at what we're talking about here, though. You also have to keep
Explain
in
for
mind,
the folks at home, Rick.
yeah, because you know your game master will prepare all this stuff that all the players are like presenting in the game, like that's totally cool. We're not tied to a whole. We're not the players aren't tied to an idea that they need to grind out levels and stuff like that. So all that kind of like D&D kind of, you know, thought going into it, you have to kind of dismiss it. We're there for the moment for our characters and what they would do no matter what level they're at.
Your characters have goals.
Yeah. They have the goals and stuff
very
like
important
that.
to have the goals.
And,
going.
and if your character
Makes
wants to
it way
get
more
better
deep.
at something, instead of it being a point pool, it's a thing they have to go learn and role play. And that's why I was talking about the montage idea originally. Like if you want to get better at swordplay, you don't wait until you've killed so many monsters.
Yeah.
You seek out training and learn it.
Well, that's something the bastard sword solve, but
You role play training with the sword master?
Well, that's why you montage that, bro.
Yeah, that's a great montage. That would actually be a perfect montage.
and
Yeah,
I think
enough.
what we're coming up to, the solution almost to do with for domain play is true play.
Mhm.
And then we do like one session that is like the domain session, and then like one shot, 2 shots that are like, oh, okay, now we role play those people that have been sent out on that mission, right? And then those people that and then after we did that, we come back to the domain play session would be like once in a while, which I think would be a good palette cleanser, right? A fresh take on it.
If you were doing that,
You do
no
it
more
every
than
session.
twice a month.
Oh,
Then,
probably less
for
than
what?
that.
If you were doing that as like a long-term regular thing, no more than twice a month.
I think the domain play would be like probably like at max once a month. No.
Well, that's why I said at most,
Yeah.
right? Right, because
I mean, who cares about? We don't care about 1-to-1. So why does it matter?
You fill it in
the
with
sense
world
that
building.
if we send one group there, then we need to roleplay this one group there, right? That's 1 week, and then one group there, then that's another week. One group there, that's another week. Maybe this one's gonna take 2 weeks, and then we come back on the right.
Oh, you're saying 1 month minimum to advance time.
No,
That's
I
what
mean before we go back to the domain session.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that is
Before the
advancing
council
time.
of,
That's effectively advancing time.
Yes.
But before we have to smell the alcohol coming off the breath of our 9-year-old king.
Hey, when you're saying you do what you want, right?
This 9-year-old needs to relax.
I'm just saying, he can't even get a Woody. Why he's got to have so many prostitutes?
Can we highlight Forum's most recent post, because I want
Yes.
to talk about this.
This is
Can you
giving
read
me
it?
a lot of
'Cause
inspiration. Why am I the one
trying to
reading
get tipsy.
those? Rick, you want to read that?
This is giving me a lot of inspiration to do domain play in Dark Heresy 40K RPG. Players are the Inquisitor, King, in quotes, and Acolytes hunting down heretics.
Thank you, Rick.
Mhm.
I mean,
I don't know what I wanted to say.
I'm sorry.
I like the forums. I don't know why I wanted to read it.
Love you, Rick, but it's
I like
funnier
it
when the
because we're engaged in
Frenchman
chat, right? He's
reads.
asking questions. That's good, man. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have inspiration forums.
Yeah, inspiration's good.
Fucking
but
love
I think-
YouTube, bro.
You bring that to 40K, and that's the topic I wanted to bring about. Like I was saying, medieval versus modern versus sci-fi, right?
40K
Different
is actually a
planets with-
perfect domain game like setting.
40K.
Sure.
40K is
Yeah.
good,
Yeah, because it's all bureaucracy.
Yes.
What would you play in? Not to go too off topic.
Now, if
What would you do in a 40K game? Would you do?
Now, this is the thing. If you're doing a
Mechanicus?
40K game,
Yeah,
you have to do domain level,
yeah.
slightly lesser domain level, slightly lesser domain level, slightly
Stop
lesser
that.
domain level.
I'm getting scared.
Until something finally get done.
so you're like,
Feel like
6
a
months of-
servitor floats
Yeah.
around and
It's
tastes
no
everyone.
longer-
everybody,
Is-
everybody gets killed every time.
so you do a domain session on Monday, servitors delivering the domain
Yeah.
message on Tuesday, the domain message on Wednesday.
It's a very busy
It's
game.
no longer a montage, it's red tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's
Red Tape, the role-playing game.
It's a
40K.
very busy game.
Yeah, in
6
40K,
months later,
I'm
some
always looking
Marines
to
get
the-
dispatched.
in the
6 months real
the
time
priest
later.
of the Mechanicum, right?
Yeah.
Or the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think they're the coolest.
I would like to be like a rogue trader or something like that.
I
you know.
agree.
Go-
I like the rogue.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
so there's no
concept.
domain plan.
There is. There is. I
It's
mean,
because you're in charge of like 100,000 like souls.
yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, they're
A
still
big
noble.
yes,
ship.
yes, but 100,000 minus 12 of them are just.
Uh,
hooked up
I
to the
agree.
power
It's
plant.
not as good as like a regular.
The
Stop
Inquisitor
fantasy.
Dungeon say that they have supplement for domain plane Dark Heresy called Ascension. There you go. Could be
Okay.
useful.
Dark Heresy is chaos, right?
And
Uh,
Rock Trader is entertainment domain game. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah. Sorry, what you saying, Phil? About Dark Heresy?
That I don't know what it is. I think it's like chaos, right?
No, it's
Dark
Inquisitor.
Heresy Inquisitor.
Inquisition.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
What's
Inquisitor.
the chaos one?
Black Crusade?
Black Crusade.
Oh yeah, there you go. The Inquisitor, like the
Black Crusade. Thank you, Inquisitor's Dungeon. Well, Inquisitor's Dungeon is the expert of obviously.
obviously. Yeah.
Mm,
All right. Let's
Yeah.
move on from 40K.
Yeah. So
Do you
okay,
think we have enough
but
time to
it's
do
kind
that?
of linked, right? Sci-fi, like because that's the thing I said. Like when we talk about Traveler and stuff like that, and I feel like
Let's talk about
Is-
our traveler setting. I don't know.
okay, the
I
shadow in
keep
the-
drinking and I keep saying things.
It's okay.
I'm very hammered.
we
That's good.
understand.
That's the point
I
of the stream. Don't
apologize.
stream or hangout stream, like the Friday night stream, right? We just come here, I
The
drink,
hammered
let
stream.
somebody drink with me for once.
Mm.
All right. Excuse me. So let's talk. Are we mass combat yet?
No, we're still technology
Okay,
in
good.
versus
Thank
domain
you.
play because is like mass communication, rapid travel. Does that make domain play less interesting in the way we discussed it? If you have like I can always call back the bus, right? Does it kind of kill a bit the vibe?
It's all time skip, so who gives a shit? It's just less time skip.
I also think there's like a bell curve of communication in
Yeah.
the timeline, like fantasy, modern, sci-fi, because like yeah, the distance was shorter, but not compared to the level of communication abilities
Yeah.
that there are in science fiction.
But I think in
So-
sci-fi, I always like the trope in sci-fi when you say like, okay, now we can travel faster than light. So
Yeah,
communication
and
cannot go
travel
faster than that.
is
doesn't.
faster than communication. So it's kind of
Yes.
So you
Yeah,
effectively
or
got
as
the
a fact,
same.
right? And I think that brings back like the interesting point. I think like it's interesting when communication goes as fast as somebody traveling, right?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the fastest way to get communication is somebody that coming back to tell you. I think
So you're-
that
you're-
adds a lot.
Thank you, Rick.
You're effectively on parity as like a messenger with a cart and
Yeah.
wagon, like a
Yeah,
wagon and horse.
you're like a bird.
Yeah,
Like a
your
messenger bird.
your starship and hypercoms are the same as
Like
carrier
messenger.
pigeon and horse and wagon.
Thank you. Carrier pigeon.
In
It's
parody
effectively the
of
same. I agree.
yeah, like when it comes to communications, where at the
I
top
like
is
what
like
you say, like just
cell
said about the bell
phones.
curve, because it's true. Like
Yeah.
nowadays, today's right now, communication is much faster than travel,
Mm-hmm.
and we have like this because like we don't travel outside of the world. We travel like by plane and stuff like that. So now, like, well, okay, now I need to have like some more detail, or there's a change in the situation. I'm gonna call back to the boss, right, and see what we need to do, and that I think that kills the vibe a lot.
Yeah,
Right.
but like because it's micromanaging, right? Like it's the old hatred of every soldier on the ground is micromanaging, but still
Yes,
you
and also
can
every office worker.
yeah. Well, that would be an interesting game playing
Office
cubicle,
worker.
playing cubicle
Typical
rats.
worker.
Cubicle rats. That's the most interesting game I've ever heard.
Well, you know,
Rat.
like as like a
That's like-
total one-off.
Yeah, that's a
Total
spin-off of
one-off.
Maze Rat. It's Typical Rats.
There's been some television shows and stuff like that all about The Office. so,
Office
you know,
Space is the best movie ever
there
made.
you go.
I
Yeah.
love that movie.
Which movie? Office Space?
Office Space, yeah. You
Two
know,
girls at the same time.
trust me, it's not as fun as it sounds.
Yeah, it's underrated.
All right. I have to trust you, I guess.
Well, you're married, man, right?
Yep.
But
Mass combat then?
no, do we reach a conclusion there? Like, is it a
that
I like
domain
the
player
idea.
is
If you said
fucking
if you
I
said-
was
mad,
promised
you should do it.
something.
So if I was going to go ahead and choose some like some different types of
Settle it
settings
for us,
or
Rick.
rules, right? For domain play, I know. Every Numenera has a second book there called Destiny, which is basically domain play for your characters, right?
Yeah.
I
But
know
I
it's
think-
cool.
I think the rules don't get involved that much in what we discussed tonight, no?
May I make one side note addendum?
Quick note.
Max, you can change the name of the stream.
To domain play.
I mean,
We're going to talk about mass
No, we're gonna
combat.
talk about
It's
mass combat.
happening.
Mass
Time?
combat.
I keep bringing it up. Max just keeps shooting me down.
We're an hour and a half in.
I mean,
Yeah. But those streams usually go 4 hours, so
Tell us
You
about
also-
it, Rick.
you also
Tell us
got
about Numenera.
microscope. Shawners mentioned
oh
that
yeah,
in
Sean
the,
was
in
talking
the
about that
stream
earlier.
there.
Yeah, where is
And-
I don't
Sean?
know nothing about it.
And that's good to take some ideas from. I also got like some of my battle tech here has
Oh,
some
yeah,
awesome
that's
rules for
Can
Battle
you show us
Force
some
2
painted
and stuff like
mechs,
that.
Rick? I
What?
apologize. I don't mean to call you out, but show us some painted mechs.
Painted mechs.
Painted mech?
I want to see your top tier painted mechs.
Oh, I don't have anything completed for my painted mechs, but I do have
Alright.
some painted mechs. I'd have to go back
Don't
there.
go
and-
digging through any boxes. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Right. Next time, Rick.
Yeah,
I
next time.
dropped my Highlander and he broke his arm. I'm very
Uh,
sad.
How fucking great is
Bummer.
Highlander? Sorry.
But yeah, there's many different supplements and stuff that's out there that can give you some ideas for domain play ideas.
So Numenera has a source book entirely devoted to domain play. Is that what
It
you
is, yeah. It basically your first book is Discovery, which is your general first three. Is it four? No, I think it's first 4 styles of characters, and then it gives you all the rules for that and general role play and everything in there. And then the second book, Destiny, has rules for building your your land, different stuff, numeric kind of things that you would need. You get they also have like a salvage deck that you can.
What's going on in Numenera that you
Oh,
have a
Numenera is
domain?
weird.
What is going on over there?
Well, it's
It's a fantasy game, right?
yes, it
Kind of.
is,
It's like-
but
Like you're
It's like,
super
oh, we're in the
powerful.
future, but
It's at the
technology
future.
went back,
it's,
and now
yeah, it's
sort
a
of Shannara.
billion
Like
years in the
magic.
future.
Yeah,
like
like
Shannara,
Shannara.
yeah.
Shannara, good book
Shannara,
series. Especially the
Yeah, like-
prequels.
It's very, very close to the Dying Earth.
Okay.
You know,
I-
by you know.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I do
Alright.
like what's Hunter in the Void, or what was the prequels to Shannara called?
I don't know, man.
I have no idea.
I don't
Oh,
read.
they were good.
I've never read the
Yeah,
Shannara
we know
series.
you're a
I think I
never
read
read.
Sword, and that was it.
There's like
Yeah.
40 of them.
Yeah. It's
I've
ridiculous.
I've read at least 28 of them.
Holy shit. I wish I was a reader. Wish I read
Well,
more.
I'm lying. I
Ah.
listened to
Yeah.
the audiobooks.
Most
And
people
I-
shouldn't be taught about to read.
I recently got the
Starting with
Mercenary
you.
box set for
What'd you say,
Traveler.
Max? What'd you say, Max?
Most
I said most people shouldn't be taught how to read. But
And
I
I
should
said
keep that for my
starting with
other
you.
channel.
Yeah. I can't co-sign on it, but I agree.
Alcoholism makes you tell the truth.
Yeah.
Bill.
Alcoholism makes me agree with you.
Yeah. In Bourbon Veritas.
What does your cup say?
Oh, this is I'm a peasant guild MMO player.
Guild
I play
War
Guild
2.
Wars 2.
Nice. I hear they're shutting that down.
Alrighty.
Well, I hear they're developing Guild Wars 3.
Really?
We'll see.
Hmm.
But they're not shutting it down, as far as I know.
I don't
you-
know.
And
Have
I'm
you pla-
pretty in tune.
Okay.
We'll see.
Have you played Guild Wars 1, the original?
Never. I never played it.
Oh man, I played that to death, man.
So I played City Heroes, which is made by NCSoft, and
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2 is also made by NCSoft. So
Mhm.
when they shut down City Heroes, I moved to Guild Wars 2. It was fine. And I'm
Do
still
you play a
playing.
Char? Those cat
Oh
people?
shit, you know shit. No, I don't. I hate the try because they're like wet dogs. I play human, and I play a lot of Sylvari, which is a plant people.
Oh no, man. No. I would play
Well,
Char.
you asked, so I
Flat
told
people are
you.
worse than furries.
Are they?
Yeah. Then people
I
are
wanna
worse than furries.
They have
Like,
plant.
by a lot.
It is.
Like seriously, they're so much worse than furries. Furries don't even pretend to be them.
I guess they are worse than furries because they don't have genitals, but they do. So it's weird.
That's how you judge the goodness of a race.
I think you need to be
Is it-
in. I think you need to be in a Flash Gets skit about now.
A
Phil.
Flash gets kit.
skit. They did.
Skit.
You
Oh
know-
yeah.
you know
I know
Flash
Flash
Gets?
gets. I know
Okay.
Flash
I
gets.
don't know what you. I know what you're
Yeah, I
talking
should
about.
be. I should.
You
be
don't wanna
killed by
know.
space marines.
Yeah.
I should be killed
So-
by space marines.
About this communication
I'm-
problem. Like,
Yeah,
do we
thank-
agree that it's cooler if once the troop is out there, they're kind of on their own. They cannot just call back home easily.
yeah.
So we can
Yeah,
do
it's
sci-fi
awesome.
if movement is as fast as communication. Communication is as fast as
Are
movement.
slower. If communications is slower, it's okay too.
Why? Can we be slower? You can just send a guy back.
Yeah, but it's expensive to do that.
Oh,
So you'll
maybe
be tempted to wait.
you pay somebody that go backs anyway, right?
A
That do this-
runner, just like that World
Oh, that could be
War.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
And medieval
We,
times.
we
same
don't
thing,
talk
right?
about
No,
that
like-
on this channel.
yeah.
I don't
But,
care
like,
how many
medieval times
Iron
is something as
Crosses
well.
that
Like, if
guy
you
got for
want- if
doing.
you need to send somebody back, right? If you need to send a courser or like a pigeon or whatever, right? That can be interesting. And to be honest,
Hell yeah,
you
spawner.
mentioned Phil like about this crispy game. I would be kind of down with that, making this, you know,
Yeah, we know you're down with
Dude,
Crispy.
I'm telling you, domain game is the next game.
yeah, but like, could we wrap that on with this rising sun problem?
It's
This is
only
one
what?
troop that has been
With
sent,
what?
so
With
the
what?
rising sun. The secret of the
Rising Sun. What's the Rising Sun
the
problem?
one.
The
The one
Rising
that's
Sand.
bang.
Our game.
It's only funny if you don't tell Crispy though.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if we can rope Crispy into a domain game, but
No, you
it's
should
like
tell him.
someone has to be the GM of the campaign game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who's going to be the GM?
Shauna.
Sure.
Rick is a solid GM.
Rick, the
I don't
GM.
mind being the GM. Max hasn't been a GM.
Max hasn't been GM for a
let's just
while
be
because
clear.
Max got the
Let's
cooking
just be
issues.
clear.
Yeah.
Max has issues.
Mental
Yeah,
ones.
But do you have a lot of responsibilities as a domain game GM? You just have to come up with the occasional fuck up.
I could do it. I could do
It'd
it.
be easy.
Yeah,
It's
just
be
keep
easy
easy.
to be a GM for a domain game.
just keep ChatGPT on and ask it to tell you what the fuck.
Yeah. I played
That
enough
was
of those games where Civ and the Crusader Kings. Why not? It's
What
easy.
system would you pick, Max? Would you pick Pendragon?
No,
What
I
would
know
you
what I
pick
would
for
pick.
a domain game?
That's a good question. But that's the thing that I'm gonna tell you honestly, like there's 3 reasons why I haven't been doing I've been gymming a lot.
Well, I
One,
know
I got
the
a personal
reasons.
problem.
Yeah.
I got drinking problem, and I got and also like I wanted the next thing to.
I was
run.
drinking while you said drinking problem. So go ahead. I just wanted to note that.
I honestly
Okay.
think
I have a solution. Well, what's your address there, Max? I'm calling you. There's some hookers and blow.
You're gonna get hookers and blow.
That's gonna solve the problem. Right?
You're gonna take a line off
that
of the
will-
mask.
But
Yeah,
and
there you go.
the third thing, which is probably more important, is like I'm close to run a Bastard Sword game for you guys.
Yeah, you want to.
That's gonna be cool.
What if
And I want
Bastard
it, like-
Sword was the domain? system?
I like the next game to run because I'm working on
Dude.
this system.
Let's make it
I
happen.
keep saying like when the next game I can run is gonna be a Bastard Sword game.
Quit. Just solidify a little bit of shit,
Yeah.
and we will run some Bastard Sword beta. Okay, and then
Yeah.
we will
Sh-
domain game it.
Shauna's right here. Foundation is domain game.
Is Sean saying
yeah.
if you read,
I need to read that, but I have it
Yeah,
like
the-
in Portuguese, and it's
the-
just a bit over my level.
The problem with that,
From the
Shauna,
south.
is no one in this party is allowed to read, according to MrMax.
Yeah.
So whatever our domain game, I won't be a part of it, but whatever the domain game is, there has to be no reading involved because they're all illiterate.
The forum say, God, I wish I could drink alcohol every day without falling into depression, and I wish I could not drink alcohol every day without
I
falling
am
into depression.
so fucking drunk right now. I just want to be clear. I'm very drunk, and I'm sorry if I'm
So
man,
if I'm insulting anybody with my.
no one's insulted, bro. Stop apologizing. As
Did I
Canadians,
apologize a lot? Was this a lot of apologizing I just did?
you were starting to, and as Canadians, we
I'm
don't give you
shutting it
permission.
down.
Yeah, as Canadians, we don't give you permission to
Yeah.
apologize.
Phil is the resident
Thank you,
American here.
Canadians.
Otherwise, it's a Canadian stream.
I'm an American. And I don't apologize. I like Guild
I
Wars
don't
2.
apologize for nodding.
I like Guild Wars 2, and I'm gonna nod.
So
as
so
much as I want.
here is a radical idea. I really don't think the way we've been talking about running the domain game, you actually need a system. I don't see
Yeah, I
there
agree.
being a need for
I agree.
dice rolls whatsoever.
I'm just
then.
curious as to
I
what
agree.
Max would choose if he would choose a system, and I guess he's saying Bastard Sword.
But I would think I would have to think about that. But that's the thing. The system doesn't matter that much.
Dude,
Like,
you
it's from
set
the-
up Bastard Sword. We'll do a domain game. It'll be fucking badass.
Yeah.
And you will make a badass Bastard Sword campaign on the internet. It'll be fucking rad.
Human
There you
only.
go.
It will also be the first domain game on the internet.
Is it? There's not
Enjoy.
the first
Enjoy.
open one for sure.
Enjoy the
And
fruits of your
40,
labor.
And 40.
No, period, bro. Period.
Domain, Bastard Sword. Let's make it happen.
What about mass combat? You want to start there? I need to
You're gonna
fucking
throw
go
that
piss.
curveball. I've been throwing that curveball at you 5 times this evening.
Yeah,
A lot
now
more
it's
than
time.
Throw that
bro.
curveball after I throw the curveball at you. And I respect that.
Well, I'll try to make it happen. But I need
We
to
can
go
talk about
piss.
mass combat. We don't have to talk about Bastard Sword.
We need to talk about mass combat a bit. No,
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I agree.
start Phil. I'm gonna go piss.
Are you gonna listen to me, or are you just gonna go piss and not listen to me?
I'm gonna listen to you while I piss.
Okay, I accept.
Yeah.
All right, I kind of got to piss too, but I'll wait until I'm done.
Pissing.
Mass combat is it in the combat? Is it out of the combat? So you have a commander perspective, you have a frontline perspective.
I say you do frontline. I think
I think
Mr.
you have to
Spin-
troop play into frontline,
Yeah,
right? Because that's
think,
fucking cool. Who doesn't want to role play frontline
Well,
combat?
everyone does fucking bird's eye view general. Like you're more likely to be tempted into wargaming
Okay,
the other
yeah,
way.
I agree. If you're frontline, you get to narratively describe what's happening.
Yeah,
You get to roll combat attacks.
yeah. You just like you're not doing the whole front line. You're just doing your little
Yeah.
skirmish area,
Yeah, and
right?
And you get to
You're
die.
just your
You
person.
get to die quickly.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
How great is it to describe your character death? It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So describe your
Definitely.
character death.
I've
few times.
described.
Everyone gets to describe a character death because you're in the front
Yeah.
line. You die.
I've described at least one character death during this stream. Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
splinter through the eye, motherfucker.
Would
That's
Splinter
what you.
through the eye.
That's what you get.
Can
for
I be
being-
honest with you? I have no idea what you're talking about. What are we talking about right now?
Mass
We're-
combat.
You said the king would go to the jousting match and be
Yeah.
there. You know, I said the
Oh, yeah, that was a long time ago, right?
the lance broke and it went through the guy's eye.
I don't.
That's what he
remember
gets for
this.
being drunk at 9 years old at the jousting match.
I was 9. I was in a jousting match. I got
You're 9,
fucked
you're
up.
drunk, and you're jousting.
It's a bad idea.
Well, he's in the audience,
But I am
but
hammered
you
and I'm
know,
enjoying myself.
debris went flying.
I'm just one eye less.
no,
than I
no,
was
no.
before.
You're
Oh, you can
dead.
die from that.
I'm fucked up. I'm dead. Honestly, my cousin should have been ruling the whole
Mostly you
kingdom.
won't remember the idea that you got.
Honestly, my
Yes.
kids should have been ruling the whole time.
Exactly.
What did this guy say?
why we don't
Good
lie.
thing you guys can rewatch this later. Most of you won't even remember that. Sorry,
Nick with his
Nicholas.
wisdom.
I let you down.
Nah, man. Nah, man. We're just like that. Like I said, like I'm saying, like those hangout stream. Well, it's Friday night. We're fucking chatting and talking. Like it's like in the bar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How
Night
dare
when
you.
eyes felt goes blind.
Okay, so clearly I'm fucked up, right?
So I sorry, I
No,
lied.
you're
okay.
I couldn't
I'm gonna take a
understand
moment for
like
myself.
the noise of my pissing. I
I
didn't
didn't
write.
hear you.
write
I
No,
didn't
we
hear
didn't
your
hear.
peeing.
No.
No,
I
I
didn't hear
muted
you
the
peeing.
microphone. I need to put a
Smart.
urinal in the studio.
It was like the thunder, sound of thunder. What's that song?
Oh no, it was this guy with
Forms,
nice.
I
voice.
actually love you. That's the problem.
Phil loves everybody
It's
right
a
now.
It's a more pissing song. That's my my 7th channel.
I wonder how long it will take YouTube to delete that one. It's just a picture of a urinal, just like a stock photo of a urinal, with
Oh,
still
yeah.
with the lines and the like copyright logo
Yeah.
over it, and then just the sound of.
So mass combat
Okay, finally.
again.
Thank you.
So the king sense.
I'm bringing back some sense in that stream and that madness.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't before. But go ahead.
Should I open the
Thank
floor?
you, Asma.
People want to join us?
As a move.
Yeah, get
As a
Shatter
move.
in here, man.
There's
No,
4 of
I
us
like
already.
this dynamic. I like this dynamic.
All right. I'll keep it there.
I apologize to
Uh,
anyone who's trying to get in.
What?
And I
there's
don't
4
know
of
who's
us.
trying to get it.
I think 4 is a good number usually. I like that's the number I kind of like. Sometimes I go
Yeah.
to 6, but at 6 I feel
If
like
Sean's trying to get in, obviously you should let it in because he's crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can come in after I have my say, and then
Yeah.
I'll drop out.
But
But
Oh,
you're
you'll drop
dropping out. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
dropping out.
yeah,
Four
I
is,
have
fine.
to-
4 is the golden ratio. That's all I'm trying to say.
but if I was to run it as a game master, yeah, the players through the eyes, whatever they're doing, I don't care. They could play the frontline guy. They could play, somebody off, watching it or doing whatever they're doing. It's they could be a gunner or whatever in a turret, on the ground or in space or wherever. It's all kinds of things that they could be in, but. The game master obviously controls all the kind of background stuff that's happening that you're seeing and describes all that. So your game master is going to have the, idea of how he's going to shape the odds, in the background going on, like in a mass.
Are we talking
combat.
mass combat or
Yeah, we're talking
okay,
mass combat.
Mass
so.
combat.
mass combat? GM has a lot of responsibilities. I
Yeah.
agree.
So you're gonna have to just
all the
describe
characters.
it.
All the characters are busy narrativizing the game, whereas the GM is really doing the work.
Yeah, well, that's why I said maybe you let the player roll like a D4 to see how many people they're
Why let the player?
well
Just because it's fun for the player.
If
just like that, like the amount of people that they're actually able to focus in on, like opponents that they're actually cognizant of beyond the crowd of you know, and then they can choose who they're gonna like fight with or are being attacked by.
I feel like mass combat. Sorry,
and then only do that sliver of the combat.
That's right.
Everything outside of that is
So
like the
everything in that character's perception.
Well, that like you have the group of people working as like a band of brothers, kind of like they're the people that work together on the field, right? They're squad mates or whatever, and then everything outside of that is like the wave of humanity in combat.
But what I was about to say, I think like mass combat, it's when we talk about it, it's a very like two different thing. Like if player or commander, it's one thing. If player are in the melee, right, that's a different thing, right? And if the player in the melee, it's almost like regular combat, but fucking longer. What's happening, Rick? You're getting fucking strangled? Oh, there you go. Oh, Phil, I think Phil got strangled.
I'm here. What? I have to leave?
No, not Phil. Sorry, Rick. I think Rick got pulled away.
He had to go. He said he was going to go after his comment.
Yeah. Thank you, Rick, for joining in.
You guys just did not recognize the fact that Rick had to leave.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Party on, Rick.
Subscribe to Twitter.
Probably going to take a leak. So I'll be right back.
All right, I'll talk while you piss.
Just don't let's hear you. Oh, he muted. Okay.
What?
He muted. He muted.
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say don't let us hear you piss because
No, but so I think it's two very different things. Like if you're the player or commander, or if the player in the melee. If the player in the melee, the players are in the melee, it's almost like regular combat, but longer and more boring.
Well, that's kind of like why I was introducing the die roll, because if everyone rolls that die at the beginning, and once all of those opponents are depleted, they make their like, because in old style combat you would go in, kill some people, then go to the back of the line. And the next wave of people, like that's what the Romans did, right? They would fight a little bit.
Well, you would change like after a time, right?
Just so you would do that, cycle out, and then, well, maybe if one of your guys was injured,
the rookies were on the first line.
Well, yeah, they were the new guys were pushed way out in front, and whoever survived became what was the term?
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, party on, Rick, man.
No, not the janissary, the centurion.
The centurion, yeah, that's the word I was thinking of. That just meant they'd been blooded, right? That's all that really meant. But yeah, or if like I was getting to before we went on that tangent, if one of the guys goes down, right, he gets stabbed or something, that's also a break in combat, because your friends are going to be the ones that pull you out, right? So maybe they try and see if they can break contact and pull you out before you die. You aim more for the expedience of removal from the fight, right? You have your quick goal in that scenario, and then you're out, and that's either the end of the session or your goal isn't to win the battle, because you're not the commander. That's the commander.
Your goal is to survive, right?
Your goal is to survive.
So you have to survive for a certain number of rounds.
Depends on the character.
Well, don't worry about rounds. Worry about the micro goals of
Yeah.
how many opponents are you conscious of. Does any of your buddies go down? Those are your two end goal scenarios.
Living.
Are you
Yeah,
routing?
well,
Do you route?
If you're a badass and you
Well,
don't give a shit about your own life, you're happy to give it up for the cause, right?
well, what we were saying while
Yeah, but nobody
you
used
were
that.
leaking is so the die idea I came up with out of my ass would be
Sure.
like
Yeah, and it's
you all
melee.
have you all have those those numbers, and once you've all killed that number, your party decides, okay, we've done enough in the fight now. We can go get lunch, and that's the
Yeah,
end of the end of the session.
the end of your mass combat part. But
That's
is
the
that
end of your
like?
mass combat part.
But that's like, is that interesting? Is that worth doing in a
Well,
role playing game session?
there's enough danger in that.
There you go.
It's a
What you gotta say?
there's enough danger in that it could be a TPK, right? A total party kill.
Yeah,
Right,
but is it the one you want to? I don't know, man. Like, let me propose a question: what's the situation where you really need mass combat? Because are we talking about how to best describe the outcome of the battle mechanically? Like, that's the question. Like, is oh, also I want to reply quickly because that's a technical question. Azimut, I'm using StreamYard to stream to YouTube, and yeah, there you go. Phil tell you if in StreamYard you can just like click on the comment and they post on screen. It's very easy.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
And
I really like
Restream is
Nicholas's comment here.
Mhm.
Have a nice night, Rick.
The propose a question.
Yeah, I just read that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
A situation where you really need mass combat, because are we talking on how to best decide the outcome of a battle mechanically? And that's the question.
Yeah.
Are we establishing a narrative solution, or are we establishing a simulationist solution? And I think you want to lean into the simulationist just to get realism out of it. I don't know how you feel about that,
well,
Matt.
I don't know. It's
Max,
a good question.
I would say
Or
you
Justin, obviously.
well, if he's just going to say it's a good question,
All I want to know is Max's opinion, but go ahead,
it's
Justin.
okay. If you do your slice of the combat,
Yeah.
and like the majority of the party wins, you call that the majority of the party survives.
Yeah,
you call that
add the D4 of casualties to the
no.
opposing
You ignore
side or
that at
whatever.
that point. If the majority of the people going in as your party survive, you call that a victory. If the majority of them die, well, the majority of your army died.
Yeah, I mean, if your
Or-
characters are dying, then yeah, for
Well,
sure.
you know, actually, like Tyler, Flame Zombie 1.
Unless it's badass.
Hey, it's Magic Wolf.
Yeah,
Is
Magic
Flame
Wolf.
Zombie in the chat?
He's not in the chat. He's busy tonight.
Oh, okay.
But he made like a preemptive VR to this stream
Oh,
where he's
yeah,
talking about
that's
mass
right. I
combat.
didn't watch it.
Well, you should, because it's a good
I
video.
should watch
so
it.
You should, yeah. So if you go look at the Flame Zombie 1 on YouTube,
I will watch it. Just okay.
Yeah. He made a video like what he's talking about rules and stuff that he does to solve mass combat, and he got some good idea in there, right? And he also talk about like he mentioned, like, you know, like in ancient time, if 5% of your army is killed, the rest of the army fucking rout, right? Just like people don't fucking fight to the death, and that's
Really route on a 5%?
Yeah,
Yes.
you see enough people
Oh,
die around
shit.
you run.
Yeah. Doesn't think
That's
that's much.
Quick. That
doesn't take
feels
a lot.
quick to me.
Well,
Well,
that's why
you know,
I'm
you have to
saying.
think like there are regular people being conscripted and stuff like that. They're not like diehard, like I'm gonna die for the
Yeah.
cause. No, they're just like, hey, you peasant, take a spear and go fight. Sometimes that's what happened, right?
And that's why I said if you see one of your
You gotta get
buddies,
some William Wallace situations in there.
yeah, you see
Yeah.
one of your buddies going down, the rest of you pull him out, hoping he doesn't die, and
Yeah.
that's an end solution to the conflict.
But so what are we?
Because that's
trying to-
routing, by the way. Grabbing your buddy and trying to get him the fuck out of there. That's
Yeah.
routing.
And if you rout, usually you get killed anyway. That's
Eh,
there's a lot.
Yeah.
Like the first guy that rout got a good chance. The last guy that rout,
yeah. Well,
It's fun.
sometimes they
Did
let
they,
them run.
did they
right?
not take prisoners back then? Are they not
did.
fans of
And,
prisoners?
yeah, and also like Magic Wolf talk Flame Zombie, sorry, talk about that a lot.
Magic Wolf.
Magic Wolf.
in the
I call
video,
them that by
like
accident.
people used to take ransom and stuff like that. That's a big thing. So you don't try actually to kill people, you just try to put them out of combat
Yeah.
and ransom them. That's
But-
also can lead to interesting role-playing scenario. If you want to go into that route,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
So say the king. So it's the because you might only do battles like mass combat battles if we're talking domain play at certain like major epoch moments, right?
Yeah.
Or the end of the campaign. The king is stupid enough to come out to the battlefield because he thinks you're doing well, right?
Well, he inspires troops.
Well,
yeah, he
King
inspires
used to
troops.
lead from the front, right?
Yeah,
depending on the king, but yeah.
yeah. Well, 3
Depending on
ranks
the-
back from the front.
That's about
That's close
right.
enough.
That's about right.
Richard Lionheart was leading from the front, but
Yeah,
he has
3
front,
ranks
front,
back.
courage.
From the front.
Yes. Oh yeah.
You sure
Fucking
that
love
wasn't
it.
his
Well,
publicist?
Richard Lionheart.
What?
Sure that wasn't
Well
his
done,
publicist?
Richard Lionheart.
Well, he also died from. He also died from.
He
like,
died from like a bullshit
Yeah,
archery
crossbow bolt.
attack or
He
something.
died from
Yeah.
splintered javelin to the
Man, I had a really good point, but I've totally lost it.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
what alcoholism
I
gets you.
apologize, Max, for my lack of points.
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
No, everybody's got to get ripped until they get stabbed with a knife.
Yeah.
So let's
The-
talk about mass combat, what it looks like when it's resolved.
Well,
How do
okay,
you
wait,
do
wait,
it?
wait. Before that, like,
Let's roll a
why do we want to
die.
do it, right? What's the point of mass combat? Okay,
Because armies are fighting armies.
armies
and
are fighting
you are
armies.
in charge of an army.
But if you're not in charge, if you're just like putting in the rank, right? If we talk
Yeah,
about that, why do we want to
you're-
do that?
You-
Why do
you
the
want-
If you're
player, the
just in a
PC,
rank, then you do kind of need to still resolve what happens with everybody else, even if you're like cleaving through
I-
like
yeah,
four
but that's
guys
the
at
thing.
a time.
If the PCs
Yeah,
join the rank of a mass battle, right?
yeah,
They want to be able to use the character to influence the outcome of the battle.
of course.
Mhm.
So there should
Okay.
be some kind of heroes that do more than
Like,
just like the regular rank.
And
file.
you should need to apply casualties. So you have to be
Yeah.
good enough to apply casualty every round. Otherwise, you're just another guy fighting another guy.
But do you want to do? Yeah,
Gives a
exactly.
shit.
Do you want to do it? Do you want to do it like, oh, okay, now this is your round. Now you can do this thing, and those people are minion. You can.
If
kill
you're
every-
involved in the front line, then you have to do the round. There's no option.
But do you do like a regular combat round, or do you do like a? Oh, now you can use one of those.
You roll your
here, and
attack.
You roll your attack.
Yeah.
And
Why
you
wouldn't
target
you?
one guy, or is it like a? Well, those guys are gonna
Depends
have
on your
each,
abilities.
those guys each
Depends
have
on
like
your
2 hit
cleaves.
point, and for each 2 damage you do, you can kill one of them, right? Whatever. Just
That's
like,
fine.
that's-
If you have that ability to cleave, then you get to use it.
You're over
What's wrong with
gamifying it
that?
though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because like you have the
But
people
if you
who
can
rank, you have to do that.
gamify it, you should get to.
Yeah.
If you
Mm.
can cleave, you should get to. You
Because I
shouldn't
know- I
just
know
discount someone's ability to cleave. if they
Axe
can.
got solution.
Wow.
for-
Yeah.
right? Because they're
What is
focused
the
on
solution in
something.
Axe? What is the solution?
Cleave
Do
is
you
one of
know?
those, and then like every character got some stuff they can do in a mass battle and stuff like that.
Can you give
Yeah.
me examples or no?
No,
Okay. I don't know the rules either. So
Um.
but I know that Macris like spent a lot of time thinking about that, and I know he's a smart guy. So
yeah, I
uh,
trust it.
Oh man, I just say, wait for it. Mass combat montage. That's fucking
Let's
interesting.
montage the shit out of it.
That's
agree with
fucking
that.
interesting.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That sounds way better narratively.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Yeah.
What's a montage? Let's get a montage going. Let's roleplay montage. I'm gonna be the GM.
Okay.
Men with spears and shields
What were
charge towards you, stabbing clearly.
What were the 2
With
guys from
definitive
Rome?
purpose.
Polo and Lucius.
Lucius? Okay, I'll be Lucius.
You're
was-
Lucius, clearly.
yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Polo was the Chadlier one anyway.
Well, I don't know, man. It should be the opposite. I'm the blonde one. But
Okay,
go ahead.
then I'll be Polo. I don't fucking care. I
No,
get-
go, be Lucius.
I-
Be Lucius.
I-
Be Lucius. Fine.
You're
I gotta
Lucius.
be honest, you guys are dropping the ball.
No, this is exactly how Lucius and Polo would talk to each other. They argue
got
all the
speared.
fucking time.
What I'm trying to say is you got speared.
All right, what I'm saying, like, okay, if I'm Lucius, I'm in the rank, I'm a centurion. I'm gonna blow my whistle. And I say like, forward, hold your line, come on, and I try to inspire my guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shield up.
I'm Shield, and my Gladius is here, and I brashly stab forward and kill a guy, even though I wasn't supposed to go yet. That's what happened.
I'm waiting for somebody to go.
Yeah,
I'm a
I've
GM,
killed a
and
guy.
I could not give a shit who runs their action. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Max.
I'm there in the line in the middle of the group. I see like some recruit trying to rout already, and I'm pushing back them in the line with my shield.
I stab another guy.
I don't know what we're doing. I lost
Well,
my train of
Are
thought.
we doing like round by round, or I'm doing like a montage?
Can
So
I
like
be honest?
guess
I have
like
no
each
idea.
each round should be like a little longer. So maybe we should be like a
We give 3 or 4 actions before the next person gives.
no
their
one
third
action, but
Obviously.
that's gonna have like a little more impact, like maybe bigger action. Like you could just say like, oh, I'm in the front, like stabbing people, and then you make this combat roll, and like, oh, you roll great. Okay, you're gonna stab a lot of people. I'm in the middle of the rank. I'm giving command. I'm making.
Does
people, like,
your role matter?
yes,
I
it
don't-
has to be.
In mass combat, does your role matter? You're one person in a group of 30. Does your role matter at all?
You're one person, but since you're a PC, you shouldn't just be one person. You should be like a special person. You should be like a champion or something like that, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be like
So
gonna be in
you're
line,
killing
10 people
multiple
wide,
people.
right? And you're in the front line. There's 10 people wide in the front line,
Yeah.
but you're the one that's gonna kill like 3 or 4 more more people than the other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're killing at least 3 or 4 more people because you have a cleave going.
Or just because you're better at fighting, right? If you would do
You're
the
better at
montage
fighting.
thing,
You're just
you're
the
a
montage
hero.
thing,
Yeah.
if you do the montage thing, you roll your combat skill, you roll very good, then that's gonna influence like the outcome. Like you're gonna kill 3 at a time for more people than the rest of the party.
Mm-hmm.
So your formation. So your formation is gonna do better. If you roll average, well, you're gonna it's gonna be kiff. It's gonna
You're
be
in a formation, you got your shield up.
Yeah.
You're a big integral part of the formation. You're thrusting your spear. You kill 2 people. That means everyone in your formation is doing better.
Yeah, your formation moves forward.
Because because there's momentum building up, right? Once you
So let's talk mechanics. You're attacking, you win with your attack. Does that mean that that the guy next to you wins his attack?
Maybe the whole line
It
just moves
does.
give
forward.
him an advantage because it's kind of spread out, right?
So
because
let's
now
talk
like you
15
kill like one.
versus 15.
Yes.
So you're a guy, you win your attack, you hit 2 people for some reason. I don't know, fucking know.
Yeah.
Does the guy next to you hit another person? Is
Just
he
assume,
like
because like
emboldened?
that's the thing. Once you start breaking up a line, right?
Yeah.
Then it make it easier for the guy next to you to kill this guy.
Yeah, it does.
And then
So-
make
so
it like
and
it's
it's
like
not
there's a domino
wrong. That
effect.
does.
just
There's a domino
assume
effect.
your victory is averaged across the line.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your failures are averaged across the line.
Yeah.
So every victory you get, your rank moves forward. Every victory combat you lose.
Interesting. So position moves forward.
Yeah. Well, it might be metaphorically forward.
Is there
but it's
position
still,
in this situation? Is there position in the victory condition?
If
Is
we
there
say,
position?
you say that the goal is to make the other groups route, right? Maybe that's
well,
Yes.
route or break. You might be trying to
That's a
break
big
through them
condition.
to get to the gate or whatever.
and depending on how well you roll,
Yeah.
it's gonna
So I'm
take
killing 3 people.
one turn
Potentially
or
that
2
causes
turn or 3
a
turns.
route.
Yeah. Which
But
is
because if we
different
say
than
if we
my
say with a montage
focus was
the
for
montage
one
rules, right? You roll
Yeah.
well. That's me. But like this roll stand for a few rounds of combat, but we're not gonna do every round of combat after the other. So we resolve like 2
No,
or
we're
3
doing
rounds.
big generalizations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you roll once,
things
and
broad
that's how
strokes.
you're gonna perform in this your formation against this formation. So now you're gonna kill a bunch of people. That's
Yeah.
gonna tip the scale on the
Because
side of your
you
formation.
are a person with a group of people. You're killing a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But also a bunch of people are being killed, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah,
Yes.
well, maybe, but
Okay.
In your side, yes, it's attrition.
if you're doing Romanistic style combat, which we've kind of adopted into, your ranks are replenished from the back rank.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Same as the opponent is, but eventually one side will not have enough troops to replenish the fallen.
So there's
ranks.
a number of reserves on each group.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when I roll a success, the number
Because
of
I think
reserves on
if
the
if
other
it's
group are
15
being
versus 15,
diminished.
if it's
Mhm.
15, 15, 15, it's probably going to be like three
I'm
ranks of
sorry.
5, right?
If it's 15, 15, what does that mean?
Well,
If
you're
15 versus
15
15.
across.
No,
Like
15 15% information versus 15. It's going to be like
Okay.
3 ranks of 5.
by 3
Okay.
with 5 by 3.
3 ranks. Got you.
Yeah. And like your hero characters, the actual player characters across
Yeah.
the rank that are doing their
Special.
montage sequence.
Yeah.
Once they're gone, that
They should not be gone.
well,
Otherwise,
once
you're dead, right?
you know,
Yeah,
once
well,
they're
not
gone,
necessarily. You just
you've
out of
lost the combat. No, I say once
If the heroic player is dead, you've lost.
your combat
I think
has
that's a
fallen.
good. I think that's a good
Yeah.
standard.
Is it?
Like even one of them
I think
falls,
so.
that's a morale break.
Unless you win 2 times and then you die. Like
Yeah.
if you win a few times and then you die, then it's like you
Yeah.
sacrificed yourself for the victory.
Yeah, but it should be like, okay, so if you just met combat and one of you dies, it's an immediate break. But if you won a couple of times, then one of you dies, it might take a couple more wins before the next person can die. Like
Is that
if
when we come
two
like
players
we bring
die
like,
back to back, you're fucking done.
is it
shit.
when we bring like a morale into play?
Yeah, like you get a morale boost for victories. But if you have multiple players die in a row,
Is it what it is? Like every time, like okay, you're starting 15 versus 15. You roll well, you're gonna kill like 2 or 3 guys in that like mass combat round. Then they have to roll for the morale check, which is gonna be based on the number of people you killed. And then if you
2 or 3 guys in 15 seems like not a lot.
I would strip the roll
Maybe
out
it
of
is
it.
a lot. I don't know.
no, it's
I
not
would
a lot.
I would strip
it's
the
not a
roll.
lot.
I would strip the roll out of it and just based on how many victories to player characters there are still
As
up.
I think you
Centurion-
start
as
making
Centurion
morale
was like,
rolls every round. Maybe you start making morale rolls every round.
But then you're
And it's
over
dependent
rolling.
on who has the advantage on deaths.
I need to piss again. I think a Centurion used to like control like 80 people. Despite
80
the name.
people is
Yeah,
much
but-
higher than 15.
We're
Yes.
we're role playing
I just-
here. We can tone the numbers
be right
down.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about something else, Justin, because I don't know what the fuck I've been saying for the last hour.
I told him to rename the stream. We had a great ball going with.
I have no fucking idea what we've been talking about when we've been talking about mass combat. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to keep it more loose in the
All right,
champions.
let's cover it, bro. You
Yeah.
and me. We don't need Max. Max is secondary.
Yeah. Well, I was going more for the champions on the field, kind of.
Okay, so there's champions, and
yeah.
obviously the heroic players are champions.
Yeah.
So you're saying NPCs are also champions. So do you
Yeah,
make the
yeah.
heroic players fight champions? Is that something that happens in
Yeah.
Mass Combat?
But I'd say, okay, so if like this is the reason why I said roll like a D4. You roll a low number on the D4, you're fighting the champion. You roll a high number on the D4, you're fighting four or five Goombas at the same time, or 3 or 4 Goombas.
So you're rolling a D4 for what? To
For-
establish
for-
casualties?
Not at casualties, to see what your particular challenge in the combat is.
Oh, so a high number makes it more challenging.
More attacks from different perspectives.
Okay,
And-
so
and-
a
and
player enters into
or-
a mass combat. There's a war going on.
Yeah,
They roll a
and-
4 on a D4. That means that they are now face to face with a serious challenge.
Yeah, well, you ever see like in a
Maybe like
movie where you
a
got like
yeah,
a buddy cop movie, like a scenario where the one guy says, "I've got Shorty on the left, you can have the guy on the right."
Yeah.
That kind of scenario, like that's what it
Yeah.
would be like. You've picked that person, and you define what that person is.
Okay,
with the
so
die roll.
your front line has met the other front line, and you are engaged with, if you roll a 4, a very almost a superior or
like an elite.
equivalent opponent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
it could be like one person or
Uh-huh.
3 people that are like less powerful,
Okay,
but you're
so
being
3
attacked.
people
Like, so
equals superior opponent. I like that.
you're surrounded, right? Like, and
Oh,
once you've all beat your goal, right?
okay. So what
You've won
before
that
you
fight.
continue, once I encounter 3 people because I rolled a 4, I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
What it doesn't matter.
Do
Like,
I
I'm
have
just like
to
off the
engage
top of-
in individual combat with 3 people? Is that what
Well,
I'm
I
doing?
assume like you and your band have gotten into the fight, and those are the people that have attacked you directly. Like these are the ones that have actually gotten your attention in the fight.
What do you mean by me and my band? Because I
Well,
feel like I'm on the
say
front line of combat.
well we've gotten back to the like one-on-one ish style of fighting instead of the rank fighting, right?
Mhm.
While you were away, MrMax. Say MrMax was managing this game, and we were the 2 players,
Mhm.
right? We would
We
be
are on the front line of a
we're the band,
war.
right? Like the party, the player party is
Okay.
the band.
All in the
Gotcha.
same for okay. The player party is the whole band.
Yeah, like
Well,
we've moved
that's
Band
not
of the
mass
Hawk,
combat. It's
as
not
the
mass
wizards
combat.
say.
because there's stuff going around on either side of you,
A lot
right?
going
Like
on.
you're not fighting
Okay.
everyone in mass combat.
You have to pick.
You're fighting the
You
people
are
you're
an
fighting.
individual involved in a frontline combat, so you have a target in front of
That's what I
you
was. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking as well.
that
Like,
wants to
are
kill
we doing
you.
like mass combat? What if
That's
we
what
do
we're
mass
talking
combat
about.
like regular combat,
That's what I was getting at.
but there's a
But
bunch of mooks around on either side, and the mooks can deal with each other, and sometimes you can go deal with the mooks, but you have to deal with the champion of the army as well, right? The
yes,
elite and the
Yeah.
veterans, stuff like that.
the champion
And
is
the like,
going to be surrounded by like similar level people or a bunch of
yeah.
other retinue people, and that's why I was saying you'd roll to see the lower the number,
Well,
the higher.
maybe I don't know if you have to roll. You can probably just like role play it. Like I was thinking, like what Rick often say. Like I was talking about it
Mhm.
earlier. Like you say, like I described the scene. There's like pillar and there's barrel and stuff like that, and the player
Well,
can make up where they are.
I
You can
I
do the
don't.
same thing with the mooks,
There's
right? They are
pillar
basically
and
like pillar
barons. What do you mean?
Well,
What does that
barrel
mean?
barrel,
barrels.
like a
Barrel.
water barrel or
Yeah.
like some apples or whatever. Like I
But
don't
now,
know,
like the mooks,
whatever's in the barrel.
that's gonna fight each other, they're basically become like furniture.
Wallpaper,
and
yeah, like that's what I was getting at.
optical.
Like you are fighting this section of the battle, but there's still all this happening around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you
Right.
want to do that, you need to kind of make it like feel it like very claustrophobic. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of people around you fighting, so you don't have much room to
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
important.
navigate,
And
but you can go fight those.
You gotta involve you gotta be tight.
Yeah.
now
Okay.
totally the D4 concept was pulled out of my ass, but I want to clarify this. You roll it at the beginning of the combat to only signify how much of the enemies are in that sliver. Right? Like you don't
What are
roll it
you
every
rolling?
round.
What are
You
you
don't roll it
rolling?
every round. You roll it at the
What are you
beginning of the
rolling, yeah?
session.
What are you rolling?
Like it's just how many opponents are
So you're rolling a
in.
D6?
Is it
Well-
important to know exactly the number of opponent, or can we keep it abstract, right?
Well,
I'm just kind of curious.
The thing I'm afraid of is you get that like self-doubt on, did I make it easier on myself just because I wanted to make it easier on myself?
Yeah, good point.
And that's why I'm saying like it's a small die, it's the smallest one you
Yeah.
have besides a D, and it's just how many per player, right? Everyone rolls it, and that total number is available on the field in front of you.
So that's interesting. I feel like the more the more characters that you're killing or that you're engaged against should be a result of how poorly you roll, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah.
it doesn't
Oh,
really
it
matter
doesn't
what the
matter.
number.
Like
of
you
directions
roll
is.
poorly, that means that you're encountering more. That you're responsible for more debt.
Could you link that to one of your the skill of your
Well,
character? Maybe like tactics. And stuff like that?
Tactics.
I wouldn't even
At
bother.
least that the only thing I could think of is tactics,
Yeah.
Yeah. In Bastard Shot, I got a lot.
and that's a traveler thing.
Yeah.
If
I
we are
personally,
talking sci-fi,
I personally wouldn't bother the first time you try it. Just throw the die out and see.
called
But
racial
hey.
slurs. Thank you.
Who did the racial slur? Is that
I
was
don't
that me?
know, but I'm sick of them. What we're talking about,
Those mook.
Mook.
just in general.
Is Mook a racial slur besides Italian? As a person
I
who
don't-
is
I don't
1/4
know. Nicholas is-
Italian,
Nicholas is a real instigator. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Nicholas, as a person who is 1/4 Italian, and I do sell a shirt on my public saying so. I'm okay.
Teespring.
No public.
T-Public.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm okay
Like
with the word.
Teespring, but they don't kick you out for being
They don't hate Max. Basically.
I do not know what the fuck you did to get kicked off of TeePublic, bro.
I don't know, man.
No, you got kicked off Teespring.
No, you got kicked off TeePublic.
Oh,
That's
is
the
it
one I'm
TeePublic?
on.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, no, I think I got what the one I was on I got
Are you
kicked
on
out,
TeePublic?
and then
I'm on TeePublic, and I have shirts
You
calling
got
for genocide.
shirts.
I have shirts calling for
You have
genocide
shirts
on
that
there.
are pro genocide. Hot take.
I'm usually against genocide.
That's
But,
fair. That's fair.
All except for one people.
No, I haven't.
That's a bold stance, being anti-genocide, Max.
Well, when
done.
we're done with them, we'll
Oh,
have
wait.
another discussion.
I know you don't expect those kind of take from me, but I'm generally against genocide.
Good for you. Good for you. All right. I thought that I was involved in like a hammering out what the fuck we were talking about, but
Fuck
Yeah.
that's never
I
gonna
lost.
happen.
So
My
mass
brain
combat.
has
When you
turned
want to
off.
genocidal people, you need to do mass combat.
Well,
Okay. Mass combat. I
No,
want it to
okay.
be system. I feel like system is the better way because that way you can't control it based on narrative.
But
And I
that's the
don't
thing.
think
We
you
talk- we
should.
talk- No, I think so far we talked a lot about mass combat as if your characters are in the melee, right? Which I think is fair. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think we need to get
it's
that
bird's
out
eye
of the way.
view gone, right? You don't want bird's
Yeah,
eye
I mean,
Bird Eye
if you're
View is
fucking
fun.
crushing in character narrative, then you're probably gonna win the mass combat, right?
Yeah.
Yes. But
I assume that
Or
you
should
know
there
the-
be a secondary role? Should there be an auxiliary role
Nah.
that establishes who wins in a mass combat
Yeah,
if you're crushing?
I think regardless of the system and stuff like that, when we wanna agree on, if you're doing the mass combat where you're in the melee, right? You have you have to have your character like be able to use their skill, their abilities,
Yeah.
whatever, to influence the result, right? And you can like kind of skip it, make it more general, like okay, roll for you're doing like just doing the stabbing and stuff like that. Roll for your melee skill, and then if you do well, then that's gonna lean this engagement of your formation with the formation in one
So
way.
is that giving you like a
Thinking you want-
+1/+2 to your 2d6 roll? Or is that giving you some like huge modifier you don't even roll? If you win, then mass combat wins.
If you win,
I would
mass
say like
combat wins.
maybe there's a moral roll or something like that to see if the other side route, and then like
and then you have
how
to go through
well
another
you
round.
perform influence that.
I'm sorry.
know.
Repeat that, Max.
Would you like me to do it?
Maybe there's a moral roll that you have to do.
Yeah.
And then how
Finally.
well you perform on your action and influence the moral roll. Like is
Okay.
the other formation gonna route or not? Is your formation gonna route or not?
So if you do really well on your mass combat, or if your personal combat roll,
Yes.
then it gives a benefit or a bonus to the morale roll that should happen in a mass combat.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I almost want to give it to them to the side.
Yeah.
If
I
you
would.
crush, then I almost want to give it to your
You
side.
could. I would have no problem with that. Like if it's very clear,
Yeah.
but then otherwise, like well, maybe
So
maybe
it's
not, maybe
a
maybe not.
matter
Let's
of
roll.
it's a matter of degrees of success in your
Yeah.
mind.
Well,
Okay.
how about this? You
I
have a
accept.
session. You have a session where you do the combat, but it's like the beginning of the session. It's the opening, like 20 minutes most maximum.
Yeah.
And then you have like it's nighttime camp. You try to get into their.
So this is a raid.
Yeah, it's like a raid on a
Okay.
castle or something like that.
Yeah.
And you try to get into their fort or break their walls down. And if you succeed at that, you're in there. You're doing the whole conquest of the castle thing. You
Mhm.
fail, they do a counter attack. Next session, you open up with 20 minutes of combat.
Oh man.
You know, or maybe you carry the session on. I don't fucking care.
Imagine a siege taking like fucking 3 sessions.
But you have to
I feel
role
like that would
play.
happen.
I think that's where the montage come like very handy.
I feel like that's a problem. So montage to the siege,
Yes,
Well,
but then like, how do you win a siege?
you started people out.
Do you roll 2d6 and see what your
Oh,
modifier says?
there's a few things. Maybe there's a few things people have to decide like almost in secret. Like, oh, I'm gonna send like Ryder to get some food, and then like we're gonna try
Sure.
to interact with the Ryder, and then we're gonna
Okay,
try
so
to
you're gonna
castle.
role play an adventure of a raid
yeah.
that affects the 2d6 roll on the success of a siege.
Well, it has the potential of being a siege or a occupation.
Well, I'm sieging
Yeah. Also, yeah, you're sieging. Okay,
because
so-
the gates aren't coming down until
yeah.
I
Because
figure
what
it
are you
out.
doing in
Until
a
I
siege?
hammer it out.
Like because those games, like, and that's the same thing with domain play a bit. Like, I love those mechanics in a siege. It's siege is a fucking waiting game.
It is.
Well, that's where the totally not my brilliant idea of montage comes in.
First of all, you're brilliant.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
Right?
I'm talking to my HR rep, okay?
accidentally brilliant.
Accidentally brilliant. That's the best description of Justin I've ever heard. Accidentally brilliant.
Yep.
All right. So I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about anymore. I've lost it. I've lost the plot. All right, let's re-chat.
Let's
Should we
re-chat.
re-chat? That's a
Let's-
good way to
Let's invite a sober person.
that's a
here.
good way to regress.
If the characters are heroic, it's a major defeat when they all die. Well, it also if they all die, it also doesn't matter what the
It's
outcome
major
of because like they
defeat
don't know.
when they all die.
Yeah, if the
So-
PCs are all dead, they don't like the result of the battle doesn't matter. They're dead, so they don't know what's happening.
If the characters are dead, do you keep playing?
No.
No,
So the characters are dead, and then you establish that it's a major failure.
Yeah.
no, the character are dead, and just like, well, you're all dead. You don't know the battle end.
Well, yeah, you don't. But if you're doing
Yeah.
it in the domain session, maybe
Yeah. Oh,
the
yeah.
more of your player characters died, the less the higher the percentage on the D6
Yeah.
roll is.
What if
That's
the
for
characters
success.
die, but they die in to further a cause? You know,
It still makes it harder.
you gotta give it up to the player character that sacrificed himself, right?
It depends. Like that, I think that would be like very like a GM to decide in the moment, like if what they did was
Yeah.
awesome enough. To
Is there a role, or does the GM just figure out what happened?
Well, okay,
depend what
so
they try to do, right?
so say
Okay.
say you're back at the domain level and you roll to see what the outcome was of that battle. Every death that gained a victory is a +1 on that die. Every death that lost the battle is a negative on the victory status.
Why would a
number.
death be a +1?
Well, if like you died heroically, so the gates
Okay,
could
so
be
the
torn
player
down,
character death could be a +1.
Why are you talking too much
Or
about
a negative.
mechanics?
because you guys keep bringing up fucking dice rolls beyond the
I don't
bare
know, I'm
minimum
just talking
possibility.
I have no
I don't
fucking
care about
idea what I'm
mechanics.
actually
I want
saying.
to talk about the picture, like all to role play into that.
Okay, let's talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the stream. That's why.
Thank you. Finally.
Yeah, Nicholas said you may get captured. RP for the ransom
RP the ransom
Player?
payers.
payers.
RP the ransom payers.
Oh, RP the ransom payers. Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds fucking cool.
That's a question.
Man, there's so many good adventure ideas.
Is your character
Yeah.
high enough ranked to be ransomed or not? Like, I
Yeah.
don't think Titus or Pullo would be ransomable, but fucking Marcus Aurelius definitely was.
Yeah,
If we're going back to the whatever, I don't fucking care what his name was. Guy died
Marcus
2000
Aurelius is a different time period. It's much later.
Who the fuck cares? They died thousands of years ago. I'm still thinking about Rome. Damn you.
Yeah, but I care. Augustus Octavian. I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all the same shit. It's my heritage, not yours. Fuck off.
Well, I'm descendant of the Holy Roman Empire.
You mean the gay version?
No, it was pretty badass.
Mm,
But
Man,
no, the chat.
Yeah.
Well, okay, wait. Montage is abstracting. Okay, montage and montage is abstracting and generalizing over complicated action. I feel like it's
Yes.
a great tool for those things. It's like a quick time event. Yeah. Yeah, I think montage can be.
Yeah,
in the-
except you don't have success situations. Like it's all
Yeah.
a success.
uh,
So
montage
Idea.
should be for things that are a given.
yeah, given successes. I agree.
Like you built a cabin out of some fucking mud bricks.
totally.
No, I think you can. I think in montage you can still have roles. Like I would still have roles in montage, and like the roles just determine how well you did, right?
The quality of work, not the
Yeah.
success or
And in the combat, it's the same thing.
Like,
Like,
so-
you're gonna
so-
fight. You're not gonna die in a montage.
no.
Like, you're gonna survive this mass combat. Like if you do it in
Yeah.
a montage.
Because
but,
you're
like,
like hitting the bag. You're hitting the heavy
Is
bag.
yeah? Is your are you gonna lead your formation to victory, or is your
Okay.
formation gonna be routed?
Yeah, so that would be role play, not montage.
It could be
But
montage.
What?
the montage should
talking
be getting to the battle and the battle
No,
after
no.
your players are left.
Battles are not
montage the battle.
montages. I agree.
You could
with
you could
that.
battle. You could montage the battle.
You can montage a battle.
You could
What
montage the
the-
battle.
I
What
think
the-
you guys have gotten too drunk.
No. You could. There's no
For
such
sure,
thing.
that's true.
I overwatered this.
I'm
down.
I'm just trying to be involved at this point.
No, you could montage the battle because like
so
the
much.
battle, like what you're gonna like for me like. Okay, what is role playing about? Role playing is about
How
making
do you
choice.
montage a battle?
It's about telling stories as a group, fundamentally.
Yeah, but it's about
I agree.
making choice and
Well, you have to
describing
do that
those
telling stories.
choice and the consequence of those choice, right?
Yeah.
It's a big part of role play, right?
because
you're in a battle,
you are a co-author. You get to
Yep.
choose.
Yeah, and
when you're in the battle,
storytelling is stories.
when you're in the battle, you don't have that much choice to do, right? You're in the
And
front line. You're gonna fight the people in front of you.
Yeah, you're busy. For
You're
sure.
busy, so like you got one thing to do. You can have some choice because, like I always say, like if there's an officer, maybe you want to rouse his men, and then like you can give some bonus to morale or in some
Eh,
way using some
yeah.
different skill. Or
By the
you
way,
wanna-
we haven't talked about bonuses to morale, and I want to say that's badass.
yeah.
Yeah.
Leadership roles to provide bonuses
But
Yeah.
those
to
are
a
people.
combat that is established. That it's going to happen. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
But I think that's the
that's
idea.
out
like,
of your domain. Like that's above your pay
It's
grade.
a domain
no,
situation.
not necessarily.
I agree.
Not necessarily. Like
Not like
Lucius-
domain. Like
I mean,
it's
you're a
it's
captain.
yeah.
if you're a
like,
captain in the formation, right, and you just like keep your men like pressing forward and down route and stuff like that, like you're in the field, you're in the middle of the formation,
Yes.
you can still like do inspiration there.
Yes.
I think that counts, but I think that's the kind of choice you have to do. So we're just gonna do the montage, like
You
Okay.
probably getting a combat role in there because you got your
Yeah.
sword out and you're
well,
Yeah.
fucking slitting
Yeah,
a throat
maybe.
once in a while.
Well, you do a fight, and if you win, you montage how bad it's going to get. Like the roll would determine on is it like a sort of a loss or is it like a
yeah, that's
fucked
that's
up
what,
loss?
that's what I think would
That's the
happen. Like,
roll.
no,
If it's
but I think that for me that's part of the montage, right? Like you go to the montage, like you have Lucius and you have Polo, right? You go to the montage, say,
Yeah.
okay, what like your formation is engaged with this other formation, they're that kind of people and stuff like that. What do you do? Like
Yeah.
not necessarily
Yeah,
asking what you do, what like just like, and a guy say like, "Well, I'm in the front line, and I'm like stabbing right and left, and I'm killing as many people as I want, as I can."
Chat,
And then like, then
chat.
okay, and then okay, make your combat roll. Then you roll very well. That's gonna have like a big bonus to the moral roll. That's gonna be a small bonus. It's gonna be like, you know, like, or you fail. That's gonna be like a detriment to your
Probably
moral.
throwing out a little
Yeah.
like, "Come on, motherfuckers!"
So
Like, you know.
the roll
Wow.
counts whether you succeed or fail
Yeah.
towards the morale. So if
Yeah.
you fail, right? So the combat on the other side beats yours, and then
Yes.
you roll. The higher you get, the worse you did. Not
Yes.
just you failed.
Well, that's too much in the weeds. Like you can make fucking whatever system you want, but it's just like the idea of like you got a player like and this player say, okay, I'm in the front line, I'm fighting. The other player is like, well, I'm in the middle formation, I'm trying to keep people together and like keep pressing them forward. Okay, then you make a different type of role. And this other player is saying like, well, I'm looking for one of the champion. I'm challenging a duel, and then like that's a different kind of role. And maybe then you take them aside and then you role play the specific duel right away. Like you
Well,
do a count roll or whatever.
we've been talking about two different types of combat here: rank and duel, right? Like
Yeah.
that's how I was originally approaching with the D4 bullshit, was like duels, right? Like I understand it's like just an ad hoc thing. It's bullshit. Throw it aside,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter. It's just like the idea popped in my head. So
But
don't sigh at me, Phil.
But now
What?
I'm talking about this montage thing, right? What kind of different thing we can do, right? Maybe one guy say like, well, I'm in the back, and
Mhm.
when I'm trying to pull, like I'm having like the injured pull back, and I'm trying to fix them back up so they can back in, right? Different thing you can do, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because sometimes you get ranged combatants, you know, and they're just
Yeah.
like plugging bitches with arrows.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
they're not
but
really involved. I don't
the,
know.
the,
Are they in
those
the
are
different
like
formation then?
those
I
are
don't
like
know.
back
I
there
don't know.
and back there. We're in the middle here.
Yeah.
Maybe the range combatant are a different formation, and they do their own thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go to the guy that's in the formation of the range combatant, and you make your attack roll, and then like you're targeting this formation that's engaged with the formation of the player.
Yeah,
A,
you
B.
got to get a dude up in your grill on the range combatant for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Like let's say like range combatant
and-
player D, player A, B, C are in the main formation fighting
Yeah.
against another formation. Then there's a formation of archer,
Yeah.
and it's the guy say, well, we're gonna plug those guy, then make your roll, how well you do. Then that's gonna impact the formation that the moral role of the formation fighting player ABC. Is that clear? Oh, fucking mess.
No. But I blame this for the lack of clarity.
I don't know what the fuck we're talking about, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
But let's
Also,
I'm
shift.
very
yeah.
excited about it.
Let's
But I
shift.
don't know what it's-
Maybe we need to do another stream at
Talk
some
about
point.
something nicer.
Max Combat, but sober this time.
I told you to rename the stream, damn you.
I don't know if I'm in the right conversation. Though.
I told you to rename the stream.
Yeah, maybe I will.
All right.
I also-
let's
I
address
also-
the
Max
chat.
Combat,
Let's
but Max Combat was drunk. No,
address
there's
the
not
chat.
much in the chat. People left.
I also
Oh,
told
okay,
you to
good.
get sober people in
Yeah,
here.
see, I gotta agree with Phil.
Agree
I'm
with
having
Phil.
so many ideas that I want
I
to
don't
try
even
and
know
do
what I
again.
said. I'm very excited about it.
But it's good if people like are get idea that they want to try, right? That's why we do that. Maybe if you roll before the montage of a battle, the base on your role play, or well, that's the idea of doing it in the montage,
Yeah.
right? That you roll like you
Maybe
make
if
some
you
roll in the
roll
montage.
before the montage of the battle,
No, you roll during the montage.
then based on your role, you role play how well it went. I think that's
No, you
pretty
roll
much
during the
what-
montage. That's the idea of the montage, right?
during, before. It's effectively the same thing because
Yeah.
during, before, like what
Maybe
you're
you
gonna
could
say,
you could do
you know,
beginning,
your
middle,
turn.
end. No, that's too complicated.
Before you roll before your turn, and then you describe what your turn
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But okay, let's shift gear a bit and talk about like mass combat. If you're in the commander seat, if you're in the commander
in
tent,
the
you're not in
commander
the fucking
seat.
melee, right?
Okay, this is where I want to describe that I dream about a situation where I get to play miniature games in a role playing situation. So, like, the only way you can play miniature games
Bad Phil.
in a role playing situation is if you're the commander that looks from the top and has perfect communication with all your units. And you're like,
But
Yeah,
you
you say that
don't.
here. Perfect
head
communication.
forward 4 spaces. And by that, I
But
mean 40 yards.
you
That's
don't have perfect communication. I think like the fog of war is important. Like if you
Yeah.
want to role play the
I
thing, right?
mean, we're talking about sci-fi. If we're talking about sci-fi, I have perfect communication.
Not
no
necessarily.
Why not?
contemporary.
Why won't
Yeah.
you give me that, Max?
Contemporary. You
boring.
have perfect communication.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
How
Phil.
dare you?
Phil.
I guess you could have like the
Justin?
bird eyes view, like you have drone like seeing over the battlefield, and then you can be like
I got
seeing.
5 drones minimum.
Yeah.
Okay, shut up for a second, Max. Phil.
Thank you.
Phil.
Yeah.
Next time you're GMing a modern game,
Yeah.
hit me up on Discord and remind me to watch this episode. Because
This episode of Tear Off Your Skin?
yeah, so I can
Yeah.
remember what the fuck we were talking about. Because I have a great idea for the next time you do a modern game as the
Yeah.
host.
I will.
But I don't want to ruin it because it's a secret.
Thank
It's a
you.
secret. What the fuck are you doing? Like you just
I'll
fucking
remind
tease?
you for sure, Justin.
Yeah,
He's not
remind
gonna
me.
fucking
You'll
remember
love
doing
the
this to you.
idea. Or I'll message it to you on Discord later if I
Yeah, I'll be
remember.
like, hey, modern game. That's what
Yeah.
I'll say.
Yeah, modern game, Justin. What was your idea again? And I'll be like, what the fuck you
What's
talking
your
about?
idea? I don't even. You're gonna be like, I have no fucking idea what I told you.
I'll just
But-
message you. I'll message you to you on Discord later.
Mm.
Because for me, like the information problem is an interesting one, right? You're in the commander tent, right?
Yeah.
And before the battle, you're gonna give some order. And again,
Yeah.
there's the problem if you are a party. It works well if you have one guy that's
I
the
have a
commander.
VR table that has miniatures on it effectively. I'm looking at it. I'm like, move that miniature over here.
So you're Napoleon on the battlefield. You got your little pop table and your folding chair, and you're like this, and you got the map out, and you got little pins stuck into it.
But
That's
even
not
like
accurate.
that's something that has been said a lot in Napoleonic warfare. Like the general was just there. They make their plan before the battle, but then like they didn't
Well-
really know what happened during the battle,
Well-
and they didn't know. They just wait. It's just a waiting game again. They just have to know what.
That's not completely true because they had a whole system where they would
Yeah.
draw squares and triangles on paper and have a runner run it out to the battle, and then the local guy would send another piece of paper back with different square. Well, like they would represent.
But I think there was always a delay and stuff
Rifleman
like that,
and-
and there's
yeah.
always like some incertitude. But I think that it could be very interesting in a role playing game, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
If you want the miniature game, that's a different thing, right? That's the thing. Like you,
When I played Napoleonics, I used to fuck with my opponent because I would always write my commands in that style. I used to have like a key for it instead of writing my-
Napoleonic style?
yeah, like the
French.
the iconography.
Yeah.
We used to play Napoleonic war games, right? So here,
It's
so
cool.
I used to write it out that way instead of using like longhand or whatever. So the guys that didn't know it at the table couldn't read my orders. Like they couldn't get a sneak peek at it. It's like,
Those
fucking-
sneaky bitches.
you read the history books. You had every opportunity to memorize it as well as I did.
but fuck! I lost my train of thought now.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know,
Let's
man.
go to the
Like,
chat. That's the move.
well, the chat is quiet now. Like it's like a sci-fi game you have where you're like.
Yeah, I
excited
know
to
we
do
lost everybody.
Yeah, we lost
Sci-fi
everybody.
game where you something.
So that is
Where you have satellite vision is
satellite
okay.
vision. Okay, but
I see is a problem. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
we
I
said
think it's an interesting problem. Oh, okay, yeah. I want to talk about a miniature battle. I want to talk about a
You
miniature
only
battle.
get to do it in sci-fi. I agree.
I want to talk about the miniature battle because
Okay.
Phil mentioned it, right? And that brings me back to and Justin mentioned the war game, right? If you look at the old school war game where you had a referee, you had like two people fighting each other, but the mechanics was kind of obscure, and the referee were making the decision. The people were making their call, and then like giving the order to the referee, and then the referee would adjudicate what was actually happening.
So we didn't.
And I think that's a lot to role play in a sense.
We didn't do that.
No.
We had two guys that would mail in orders to our opposing sides. And then we had 4 players at the table, 2 on each side, and we had to write in what our guys were doing next turn on our notebook, and then we had to do that whether it would get fucked up or not. So we couldn't adapt our plans to the opposing team's maneuvers per turn, because we were acting like a general sitting at a table sending orders out to the troops, right? So we'd have to write them down and then do that before next phase. But yeah, referees, to make sure, is like a really old school way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the role playing game, we have a GM that could take that role. Maybe
That's where the position comes from.
yes, exactly.
Well, friends, I have met my limit.
Yeah, I think
I
we.
apologize.
Call it.
I have become delirious, and I am no longer able to contribute in a meaningful fashion.
I think we. I think that's gonna be the end of it. We're gonna wrap this up anyway because like we're.
Okay.
We're just.
Well, I'll let
now.
you wrap it up then.
I think the mass combat part we probably have to revisit at some point. I edited the title of the stream.
I want to say that I'm very excited to play domain game style 4D GM. 4D
I think in the domain style, I think the domain play, we had some very interesting breakthrough that I would be very glad to try.
And from what I gather, the conclusions were made that could be a totally diceless game too.
The domain part, yes,
Yeah.
It's almost
The
like
main
you're
part,
looking
yeah.
for reasons to roll dice.
Yeah. But in
That's
the
kind
domain
of one of
part,
those situations.
in the main part, it's almost like we're going back to like when we do like those session planning or those like kind of like a wall building kind of a session,
Well,
right?
Yeah,
I could see one way you could roll die if you want to make sure there's always conflict in the game. You
Okay.
have a unique conflict. That's what makes the game work.
Not about rolling dice.
Well, yeah, I agree with you there. There's times where like who gives a fuck. But the one thing I could see is you roll a die, whatever one you pick at the beginning, to see how many conflicts will come up during the session.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, that could be.
And then you have a smaller die, or the same die, but not bigger, to see how many you are capable of responding to.
But that's also like the GM can be doing that in the background and stuff like that. You know, just like.
Well, I might give the king the ability to see how many you can respond to.
Yeah.
Because you want the potential. You want the potential to not be able to respond to all of them.
Yeah. But you know, that's the thing. System thing, we leave to the audience to figure out, right? We're just talking about like big picture thing and like I don't know, like thinking about like, you know, you don't want
the king's role in the system though. What's the king's role?
To delegate, to listen to the advice from the other players and choose what is actually going to be delegated.
Like, so the king approves which adventures are
because it's not a fucking democracy, motherfucker.
It's true.
Yeah. Let me go to the chat one last time before we wrap it up.
All right.
In fantasy, having a mage using scrying is the game changer. Yeah. Then you have bird eyes view. You're gonna say the enemy mage. That's very interesting. That's something that can be done, but that's almost like before the mass battle, right? Stuff you have to do. You do like those raid before the mass battle. That's the very interesting part. That's the interesting part that you should do in role-playing game, not necessarily the mass battle. Turning into the court result did one, yeah.
Yeah, well, it could be.
Justin is once again onto something here, but we're too drunk to listen. So. Sorry, Justin.
He would take exception with the fact that you think he's on this.
Yes, I have found a new mortal enemy in this.
And you're wasting your best idea on a drunk audience. If it is general, then
if we do this as generals, then we do it said delay.
set
Yeah,
delay.
I think it need to be like very like you put your order on, and I think then the time skip would come into play a lot, right? You put the
Yeah.
order on because that's the
100%.
thing too. Like you make these tactics, you decide how the battle should be run, but you don't know what the opponent do. You don't know how it's gonna go. So like at some point, like you have to have this waiting game. The waiting
This
game
is the
can be ended with
most player-driven time skip that
Yeah.
can happen because the players know exactly what adventures are available, and they're saying, "I don't want to do any of those things. Let's
No, we're
time
talking
skip
about
to the
that.
next
That
thing."
comment was to mass combat. Now you're going back to domain play.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think it applies
That's
with
all
both,
right.
though.
That's all right, man.
But
we all.
No, you hate me. I realize it, Max.
At the same time, right? Like you know you have a good ruler when they're giving you broad objectives
Yeah.
and letting you figure out how to deal with
Yeah,
it.
but again,
And you have
like
a bad ruler.
Bad
Right,
ruler is
like-
going to be Robert Baratheon, and that's who I am.
this is a good ruler.
Yeah, but younger and drunker.
He's
So
very busy.
It's more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because it's funnier when you're like Child King Baratheon.
It's funny also, like
when
he
you're
was like
Chad
so,
Baratheon.
so in love with this fucking Stark girl, and
Yeah.
didn't care about the
He never cared about you,
the
bro.
Lannister one. But then you see, when we saw like the Stark girl, you said like, well, man, maybe you should have cared a bit more about the Lannister one. She was
Baratheon never
so
get
fine.
fucked with a Stark. What are you talking about?
Yes,
When?
Robert Baratheon was in love with Ned Stark's sister,
Yeah, and then she died.
and then
Does
she died.
Yeah,
Yes.
she died.
Jon Snow's mom?
No. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Jon Snow's mom. Robert Baratheon was
don't
madly in
remember
love with
that
Jon
at
Snow-
all.
Jon Snow's mom.
You know what?
Yeah.
I do remember now. Now you're saying it, and I remember.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole fucking reason for the war.
The whole
Robert
reason.
Baratheon was in love with Jon Snow's mom,
Hates
but Jon
Targaryens.
Snow's mom was in love with the
Was
Targaryen
raped.
prince.
Yeah, I got you.
They
I'm on
say
board.
she was raped, but she wasn't. She left with the Targaryen guy. Spoiler.
Ah.
But then the Baratheon thought like that the Targaryen
That's
guy
so cool.
abducted this woman and went to war about that. But
Yeah.
and that's the whole reason like Jon Snow's birth was so problematic,
Yeah.
because and they even get married because Jon Snow wasn't a bastard, because they actually got married before she gave birth.
She got married with the Targaryen?
Yes, in secret.
I don't remember that.
It's
But
in the
I believe
books.
you. First of all, I believe you.
It's in the
Just so
books.
quick.
I don't remember that from the books.
I don't know if
I never
they-
read the books.
I assume it was in the
I'm-
movie as well.
I'm a show
No.
guy.
In the show. Yeah, I think it was in the show as well. Like Sam figured it out.
I'm sure it was. I'm
Maybe
sure
it's
it
in like
was.
season 4 or something.
It
Or
probably
5 or
was.
6.
Yeah.
But it's
When
it's
they
in the later
revealed
season.
it, when
Okay,
they
I only
revealed
got up
that
to the third
Snow
one,
is a Targaryen. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fourth season.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I'm gonna wrap the stream out. I'm sorry we didn't go to the mass combat in a better way. I think
I
we
tried
made
to
a
take.
pro-
I tried to take him to task.
I
feel like we
yeah,
handled
but, I thought we were gonna good roll with domain play, and I think we did made good progress on that field. So I hope that compensate. Maybe we're gonna revisit like mass combat at some point. Who knows? What are we doing on Monday, Phil? We have a game Monday? We don't, eh?
We don't.
Maybe it's
I
gonna be a
think we're
break.
having a
break
blank
week.
day. I think we're having a
I think
break.
we got a break. Yeah. So next week on the Tear Off Your Skin is gonna be another
We're
topic.
making Crispy run the next game, and he won't do it next week. So
Yes,
we'll
exactly.
have to do it the
Yeah.
following.
We're recommending Crispy into a domain play game.
And it's
He
a
is not
secret.
allowed to play a character.
And it's a secret, so don't tell him.
Yeah. Well, we have to have some.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's playing a domain game. That's for goddamn
Yeah.
sure.
And for people that don't
No,
know and are
it's
interested in that
funny.
kind of stuff, I started putting like random content, not about gaming, on my personal channel, which is like
Yeah.
MrMax Boivin. So if you just like look
Boivin?
MrMax Boivin, yeah, like my name, it's in the title of this channel.
Maybe you've heard of it.
It's
Maybe you heard it. And it's there on my nameplate as well, down there somewhere.
there somewhere.
Yeah.
He-
My
He's
camera's at
pretty-
an angle, man.
I highly recommend Max Bovain's content.
Yeah. So I started putting like content there about random shit that are not related to gaming, like political opinion and stuff, shit like that.
Finally.
I'm doing
Finally.
people know I have a lot of hot takes about a lot of shit.
he
If
he
you
outed
didn't
me.
know, Max has hot takes.
He
Watch
outed
the channel
me
before I
as
get
a-
kicked out of YouTube because that's probably not gonna be that long.
Yeah. We'll move to X.
Yeah,
be an
well,
X
I'm not
channel.
there anymore either.
Well, you will be. Once you get banned, you will be.
Yeah.
I've been streaming my show
Yeah.
Wednesdays and Fridays at noon, real time.
Eastern time, yeah.
Yeah, real time.
Yeah, I noticed you're streaming now. You got
Yeah,
your own
yeah.
time slot and everything.
Yeah, at to 12 on Wednesdays and Fridays. It is streamed on X, formerly known
Okay.
as Twitter.
Maybe I'll watch it on X.
Yeah, I don't care.
Just to keep it real.
Or you could come join. You could come log in and
Join the stream, yeah.
be a guest. I let people on every now and then.
Yeah.
I let Max on today, so I'll let you on.
Who knows?
Yeah. So you talk about food and shit like that.
It's mostly a food.
We talk about other
That's
stuff.
food stream.
Shadow and I are going to be introducing a Friday creative writing.
I've seen
segment.
Shadow both times I've looked at your stream. I've
He's
seen
my
Shadow.
co-host.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, we'll need
He
it.
seems like a cool dude.
Hydrating.
he is. Yeah, I need to refill my water bottle.
Love you,
Yeah.
Nicholas.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you for joining. And I always need to see that. Like, thanks everybody that joined in the live stream. So those guy and Rick. Thank everybody that joined watching in the chat there. And thanks everybody that watched on replay. Phil, also tell us about your channel, Phil the Trill.
I have a
Domain,
channel
Lord.
called Feel the Thrill.
There you go.
Yes.
I've gotten very hammered and I apologize to the folks at home.
If you can't tell, that's my channel name.
Justin Thor LPs.
Yeah. Whatever my camera angle is.
Figure it
channel.
out.
Yep.
Search it.
The other channel
ahead,
for
Max.
Justin is the Bone Spear and
Starships. I have
Starship.
another one. I have another one for short stories. So yeah, it's also my Discord channel. So.
And
We never really established what is the best system for domain play, but
I don't know,
you don't
None.
have to.
none exactly.
It
I
doesn't
think that's what we
I'm
established.
I'm
It
I'm
doesn't
voting
matter.
for no system. Just talking around the table.
I think that's what we established. Like
accept.
every system that
I
tries to
accept that
gamify
answer.
too much the domain play are missing the mark.
Fuck you. Stop gamifying it. It's role play.
All right, I'm ending the stream now. That's enough.
Join the cult,
Thank
damn
you.
you.
Thank you, Max. I can't stop.
Thanks everybody. Talk to you next time. Oh, by the way, my other channel, the stream on Wednesday. Is that Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday at 10:09 p.m. Eastern time. So join us then. This week we're gonna talk about what did I say? We
What
talk
are you
about
talking
intersectionality.
Finally.
Yeah, how it's not all dumb, but the people defending it are. So
So you're
Take
pro discrimination, but not.
but not in the way they do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Take care, guys.
I'm pro discriminating against you, Baldy.
Fair. You should.